What time is it? It's time!
Tonight, the revolution begins.
I'm expecting a fight, hoping for a war.
We are the Bullet Club.
I am the greatest living professional wrestler alive. One by one, they will all follow me.
Bada boom! Realest guys in a room.
How you know?
Feed me more.
Welcome to the second most must-see WWE talk show in history, and I say second. And I say second because there would be no cutting edge, there would be no highlight reel, there would be no body shop, no barber shop, no snake pit, there would be no Heartbreak Hotel, and there certainly would not be Ms. TV if it wasn't for the originator of them all, Piper's Pit. From the bottom of my heart, Roddy, you will be missed.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the mat.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leeser.
I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into you.
I like that song so much we had to play it twice.
Yeah.
This is Wrestling Max episode 155.
Yeah, and thank
An
God
episode where we're apparently not going to be talking so much about things in America.
Oh, man, yeah, exactly. And you know what? Thank God we're on. You know, we had a few technical problems. That's why you got Paramore twice this week. That's okay. Good band, we usually try to change things up every week, but, things happen. And here we are. We're glad to be on air and ready to rock and roll. We are glad to say that we do have a big show for you guys. We are going to, of course, do like always. We're going to jump into some quick hits. A lot of big news this week. WWE got their face a little red because, let's just say that they mentioned a pornography. Well, I'll just leave it at that. Pornography, WWE don't match, but they used it. So we'll talk about it. We'll also jump into some other great topics. We're going to talk about The Undertaker's music getting used by a certain rapper and what WWE thinks about it, plus some ROH news for you guys that you'll find very interesting. Yes, it does involve New Japan, so big news there. We're also going to talk Raw, NXT, TNA, and, of course, we're going to cover ROH. But you know what? We also have some big news with Lucha Underground. We're going to cover that big Ultima Lucha show, 2 hours of it. We were happy to watch it. So we're going to talk about that, break down the season finale of the show. I know it's depressing, but at least we are going to get a chance to talk about the finale and have a great time doing it. And don't worry, guys. Just because we love it so much, we're going to talk Triplemania this week because they have a lot of the Lucha Underground guys over there as well. So we're kind of sad in one way and kind of happy in another. So we're going to preview this weekend's Triplemania, going to kind of break down that whole card and get ready for that. So a lot of big stuff this week. Plus, we're going to crown a Superstar of the Week. You guys don't want to miss any of that. And if you want to join in on the conversation, hey, hit us up on Spreaker.com, and we have a chat bubble for you guys there. You can get on the chat bubble and chat with us and kind of let us know your thoughts, maybe any questions you have. Plus, we have a phone number you can call in live right now if you're listening to us. You can call that number, and Sean, what it is?
972-591-8620.
Oh, yeah. So we're looking forward to hearing from you guys. A lot of great stuff to talk about this week. And so, I just want to mention one thing off the cuff. Of course, you heard the intro. You also heard of The Miz, kind of pay tribute to Roddy Piper. We did that as well. And we did that last, I believe, Sean, was Friday night, I believe. I'm already blanking on the night we did it. But it was the night, I believe, of Friday. And we actually talked about Roddy Piper. We had some callers call in. This was a very, very impromptu show. We heard the news, and me and Sean discussed it, and we wanted to do a show. Sadly, Paul wasn't able to do it. We were really, really wanting Paul to be on that show, too. But we felt urgent to do it, and so we went ahead and covered it. It wasn't as good because Paul wasn't on it, sadly. But, my point being is that it is there. We did a lot of Roddy Piper discussion on that podcast. So if you're expecting a lot of Roddy Piper talk on this show, it's not going to be here. We have other content we're going to cover tonight, but if you want to go back and hear it, please go to that show and hear it. We are going to let Paul talk about this, but we're going to give that information in quick hits. So we'll open the floor during quick hits for Paul to kind of discuss Roddy Piper and his thoughts about his passing. But besides that, guys, a great, busy week for all of us. Sean's been doing the G1 like crazy, and Paul, of course, he's been working like crazy. So we've got a lot of things going on in our lives. I'm still getting ready for that Sweet 16. It is only 2 days away, maybe less than that now, and I am dying. I got so much stuff to do before that day, so a lot of stuff to get in. But since we do have so much stuff, why don't we go and jump into some quick hits, guys? Let's go ahead and do it.
Give me 1 second there, Gary.
It's okay.
Hitting send tweet on.
There you go.
And now I can do it.
Social media, you gotta love it.
Yeah.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
All right, guys. Well, I want to open the floor for Paul, first of all, because of the fact that we did cover that show last week, and I want to make sure Paul gets his thoughts out. So, Paul, the floor is yours, and kind of talk about Roddy Piper and what your thoughts were on his passing.
Obviously, it's very depressing, but honestly, I don't really think I could think of a better way to go out than in your sleep. That's the way I would prefer to go. I'm sure that's the way a lot of people would prefer to go. I'm sure that's the way that Roddy never saw himself going out with all the things that he went through with alcoholism and his cancer bout and Lord knows whatever else that man went through. But
stabbed twice.
Yeah. Like those 61 years were action packed. I bet, like straight out of the womb. I bet you he was already doing an action movie. But he's a legend. I mean. True, and ever since the word, he was one of the guys that kept WWE popular in the 80s, made it into what it was, I think. Because outside of Hogan and Savage, I think you look at Piper as the next guy. Great heel, great foil, I think, to Hogan, especially during the early days of WrestleMania, and even after that, his face run. His match with Bret Hart at WrestleMania 8 still remains to be one of my favorites to this day. It sucks. We're losing legends left and right now, and I mean, it sucks, but I mean, R.I.P. He lived a long, well, I won't say a long, but a good life, hopefully, and one that we'll all miss.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that sentiment. And Roddy Piper was always one of my favorites, and I talked about that this past week. And I know, Paul, you kind of held him to a high esteem as well, and you speak the truth when you say he's one of the best heels ever in the business. And he always was very, very proud of that. I mean, they'd always talk about, my business has voted me number one as in villain, and I think that he took very much pride in that, and, just so sad that he has gone. I was a big fan of his podcast. I'm sure you guys checked it out as well. So definitely RIP. We'll move on past that, though, if that's all you have to say, Paul.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to go ahead and jump into some other news and some kind of, let's go and get into some fun news. I hate starting with depressing stuff. Let's jump into something fun. Let's talk video game fun. WWE 2K16 just unveiled all their big features, and tons of them, lots of stuff this year. Some of the same features they've had in the past, of course, create a championship, create a superstar, the whole creative suite. They also have a lot of information when it comes to, the Stone Cold Steve Austin portion of the game. They've also got tons and tons of other stuff. Sean, you could probably give me a whole list of things,
Yes, I can do that, actually.
Being the video game expert here, come on.
Yeah, so, other than the 120 unique playable characters that they're saying is the largest roster ever, lots more NXT talent this year. Arnold, there is a special pre-order. There's a leak roster out there. I don't know if that's necessarily the one that's going to really be there, but probably that covers a lot of what's there. The 2K Showcase is coming back with... They really don't give you... I'm sure this is going to be one of those that they're going to wait to tell you about. I'm sure at SummerSlam Access, they'll tell you a little bit about it, along with the roster. The My Career mode is now going to let you get into the Hall of Fame, and it's supposed to actually give you... You can do interviews now, you can have interfere in rival matches and form tag teams. Gary mentioned the Creation Suite. That's all coming back now. That was taken out from last year. You can now create women. You can create titles, arenas, shows now. You can also... in the Universe mode, apparently, you can now have guys on multiple shows, which you could do before. It wasn't like all formal. So now you can... I guess you don't have to do the brand extension now. The online is supposed to be better. The soundtrack. You can now put your customized in-game music. Thank God, because that really made me not want to make custom characters. That it was taken out last year. And all the stuff that gets improved. There's a new reversal system, and new pin minigame. Again, thank God, because that minigame that's been in that game for the past 3 years is so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the hardest freaking things to try to figure out when you're going through a match of, hey, I should just kick out at 1 at this very simple suplex, but because I can't press A at the right time this dumb game wants me to, I'm losing to a suplex. Thank you. Not all of us are Coco Beware. We can't just perform great suplexes that make people get, down for the count. They brought back the chain wrestling and the working holds and stuff for reversals, so that's cool. And something we all didn't want, they now have added the 3-man commentary team. So not only do you get King and Cole, you get JBL too. So,
yeah, that is interesting, Sean. And from what I'm hearing through some of the sources with the production of the game at 2K, they said that exact feature has been giving them problems. They're still working the bugs out. Apparently, when they are using that portion of the game, when you're actually listening to the commentary and you're actually seeing a match happen, the problem they're having with the bugs is the fact that the commentary is only talking about John Cena and the WWE Network. They don't talk about the match. So that's a problem, and they're trying to get that bug out, but apparently it's a big issue.
Yeah, and also JBL just talking over Michael Cole.
Oh yeah, that's another one they mentioned. Wait a minute, that's real life. Never mind. I'm sorry, guys.
One of the cool thing is they did take out the loading screens in between entrances, so you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Thank God.
But yeah, we'll actually know more details about it, I'm sure, when we get to the SummerSlam Access stuff and all that kind of... That's usually when they reveal the roster and reveal more details.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, maybe in a few weeks we'll get to find out more. And Mr. Chris Lemche is now on the line. He's one of the ones that I thought would call him, but he didn't during the Piper thing. Do you want to talk... I want to give your thoughts on Piper passing.
Oh man, and I was sleeping. I was on like a nap, and then my friend texted me "Man, first Dusty, now Piper." And I immediately jumped up wait, what? And rushed to the internet and then saw the news. Oh my god! And I was a wreck because Piper has always been one of my favorites. Probably the best heel. He's definitely, in my opinion, the greatest person to never win the World Championship. And I actually have a kind of a funny personal story. When I went to Mania this year, on the way back, my plane had got delayed, and so did Roddy Piper's. So we were just both sitting at the airport, and we were both eating the Einstein's bagel kind of thing. And he looked over at me "Hey kid, what you get?" And some eggs, some bacon. He's good man. And then I actually had a good 5-minute conversation with him. It was pretty nice.
Well, that's cool, man.
Did y'all talk about anything noteworthy?
Not really. I was just pretty much like in awe, kind of telling him how much I looked up to him, how I loved him in They Live, and how it comes to Frogtown, and just yeah.
I need to see that. Still haven't seen Hell Comes to Frogtown. I need to watch that.
They've apparently signed a deal to release his last movie too, so
Nice.
that's good.
That is really cool.
That's the one thing I think people forget too, is that a lot of people know about They Live, and there's a lot of people that haven't seen that movie that you need to. At least if there's anything, give yourself an excuse around for Halloween. Make that one of your movies you watch or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you haven't seen it, watch that. It's awesome. Roddy Piper is awesome in it. It's a John Carpenter movie, so if you like all the other John Carpenter movies, I don't think you can go wrong with that. And just he was so big, like he left a lot of times to go do movie stuff and other stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. Like with Piper, that everyone leaves wrestling, you would always be like, "Oh, boo, you turned on us," and other. But when Piper leaves, we're like, "Yeah, you go get it, man. You deserve this." It's like that's the kind of emotional attachment you have with him, and you probably will never ever get again. And that's another thing too. Like I was watching Piper and Hart from WrestleMania 8, and that match is just so simple, but it's just so amazing, and you'll never see another match like that again either.
Yeah. I mean, they created something really special that night. I feel, and you're right, it's so simple, but the things that they did in the ring, as far as just them being there, drew you in. It's awesome.
I don't even think there was a single near fall in that match. The finish is the finish. There's no false finish at all. Exactly.
Yeah, that's. They have so many near falls in matches now that it's just. I think it'd be foreign concept for them to even try something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no way. The old school system's just out. It's done. But yeah, I mean that's really great. I'm so happy for you, Chris, to actually get to meet the man, and even if it's just talking about a bagel, that's a really cool moment. You'll always have that with you, and that is so cool. So.
I liked. Did you get to see this? Did you get to watch it? Well, I don't know. They didn't show it on the actual show. They put it on YouTube or whatever. Like, another reason why to love Woody Page. He apparently covered the NWA back in the day when Piper was around. And he saw Roddy Piper, like, not want to give this kid an autograph. And he, apparently shoved the kid and told him, like, scram or whatever. And Woody Page was like, hey, why didn't you give that guy an autograph, And he was like, well, the thing is, that autograph can get sold to somebody, and in 5 years they could lose it or whatever, or they give it to somebody else. He'll always remember the time where I told him to get lost.
Wow.
And that was his way of looking at things, just that's really cool back then. To know that somebody covered the NWA back in the day, and is still around talking about it on a sports show, that's cool. But yeah, I mean that's cool that like Piper just there's so many memories of the guy, and he, like Chris said though, I mean we always talked about like The Rock, he did all this stuff in movies and whatever, and I think people forget like all those times that Piper would leave, it would be to do that, and that's so funny that we gave Rock so much crap when he left, but Piper you didn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true. Very true. So, I think, he's going to leave a big void. I know the fact, he's been retired for a while now, but just not having him around at all, not going to be at WrestleManias anymore, it's going to be a different feel. It's definitely a big loss to the wrestling world. I do have one quick question, and maybe Chris may know this. We lost Hulk Hogan off 2K16. I mean, they promised 120 different characters. Who's going to replace Hulk Hogan?
That's a good question. You get Hollywood Hogan. There you
Yeah.
There you go.
You'll get 5 more versions of Triple H.
Or you get Thunderlips. Thunderlips didn't say any racist things.
Ooh, there you go.
Clearly, the
already got
answer
the
is
Terminator
Horse
in there,
Hogan.
Horse Hogan.
Horse Hogan. I'm sold. I'm going to pre-order mine right now.
Or you get Brother Brutai.
Forget Terminator. It's Horse Hogan.
Yeah, I love it. Well, there's some other interesting news, guys, that has been, out and about. And since we're kind of talking about entertainment, let's talk about this rapper. Now, this rapper has used the track from The Undertaker, his theme music, and that is, of course, Meek Mill. And this is interesting because people, they use tracks from different places. They sample. And usually, if you get permission, it's okay. But I know this guy must not have got permission because WWE's up in arms over him using the Undertaker's theme. So, what do you guys think about this?
Here's the thing: that wasn't a sample. That was robbery. He didn't use just one part of the song. He used it quite often.
The entire
that song.
Right. I haven't heard much of it, so you guys will have to fill me in on that. But overall, is the song even good? I've only heard a little bit of it.
I recently listened to it. It's pretty awful. I have no idea who this Meek Mill guy is, but good God, if that's what people are listening to for music, everybody needs to get their head checked. Cause, and like Sean said, it's robbery. He didn't.
Oh, we lose Chris.
Yeah.
Hear me?
Oh. There you are.
Well, yeah, you cut out right in the middle of the.
Oh no! I was saying that he doesn't just use Taker's theme. Just sample it. He just blatantly uses it, and it's awful.
It's like the background music the entire time, almost.
Oh no! Yeah, that is robbery.
And then that's what's so stupid is the guy. Like, I guess he's so devoid of understanding that there are so many wrestling fans and that WWE is huge on social media that as soon as that's on YouTube, somebody's gonna tell someone, and it's going to be in all the wrestling sites, and it immediately will get found out. I mean, like, how did you not get someone's permission before you blatantly take that thing that badly? And that guy is basically known as the guy that's dating Nicki Minaj right now, and that Nicki Minaj basically has his balls. I mean, he is really unnecessary to the whole, and he's having some kind of feud with Drake. Whatever.
Yeah, he's already lost. So
it's probably about Nicki Minaj too, since they both dated her. So.
Oh boy, yeah, all that drama in the hip hop world. But this is very interesting though. I mean, it surprises me that someone would be that dumb because I'm assuming WWE is probably gonna have a lawsuit pretty soon for him to enjoy. But I mean, I just got to know, how fast did you put this on your phone, Paul?
So I haven't listened to it yet, so it's not on my phone.
Oh, man.
And after hearing Chris tear it apart, I'm probably not going to listen to it either. I
just know Paul's a big fan of listening to wrestling music. Yeah. I think it's a better idea. Trust Chris. I will, too. But, WWE, they have a lot of things going on. Like, Vince McMahon is back to being a billionaire this week. I know he's stoked about that. That's great news for him. Of course, WWE stock, fluctuated a little bit this year, but, that's good that he's back to being a billionaire. Something else that we should talk about, though, is the fact that, there is a certain rumor of a tag team. And me personally, I'm kind of against it because of a few reasons. But I'm just curious if you guys have heard of Beef Mode. Beef Mode actually includes two guys that you know very well, one being Brad Maddox, who Bischoff Light is amazing. And then, of course, you got to add in Adam Rose, who I wish was not Adam Rose. I wish he was a certain Leo Kruger. But these two guys together, if the name is true, I don't know if it's true or not, Beef Mode. That's weird. What do you think about these two guys if they were to come out and use this gimmick and be a tag team of just being, muscle bound, just kind of, I don't know, these kind of beefcake type guys. Yeah, there you go. Well, what do you think, Chris?
If this actually comes out on Raw, I would just roll my eyes in silence and just be so disappointed because, one, especially at the E60 special on Adam Rose, they should have done something with him. Just something. Not just let him just be, I guess for a while, just make out Rosa Mendez, and then now, I guess that's over since she's pregnant. But Yeah, it's just that. And I also, like you, Gary, I would love for Leo Kruger to come back. If they're not going to do anything with the Adam Rose character, just bring him back as Leo Kruger and maybe have him join the Wyatt family.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I've been standing on that platform for a while, but Sean still says it's not what should happen. Right, Sean?
I didn't say that.
Oh, is it Paul? Maybe it's Paul. So one of you guys are against it, and I know it. But I mean,
I think it's Paul because both of us are big Leo Kruger fans.
I was about to say I wouldn't say I'm against it, but I'm still sold on Adam Rose. So
I know.
If I'm Bree, I'm yelling out gimmick infringement right now. She's the only one that goes into a mode. Just...
Yeah, not a very good mode, but yeah.
How are you?
Very lackluster.
Yeah, especially since she's not drunk in the ring, it doesn't kind of make sense at all. It's just, if you're using something off Total Divas, it doesn't make sense because the whole reason why she gets into Bree mode is because she had drinks. So
yeah, I never got that as a catchphrase for her. I'm just thinking to myself, that means she's getting belligerently drunk. So how does that translate to her as a babyface?
I guess Stone Cold made it work,
Yeah.
But Austin wasn't yelling out, Austin mode!
Maybe you should have.
Imagine?
Maybe he shouldn't. I probably would have loved it if he did.
316 mode right now.
Golly. Oh man, this whole thing though. I mean, I'm a fan of Brad Maddox. I really am. I think the guy is cool. Just I don't know about him in the ring full time. It's been a long time since we've seen him as that guy, as a full time wrestler. But I'm all for it. Anything with Brad Maddox, I just think he's got a lot of charisma. But adding him with Adam Rose, it could work, I guess. What do you think, Paul? When you look at this, do you think this could be something that actually could be something, or is it just a short time gimmick?
I tell you what, Adam Rose, Leo Kruger, he's very talented at playing characters, and I certainly think the same is true for Minnie Bish. So if they can figure out something, I really think this could work. They could be funny, they could be angry. I mean, it's either great heels or really funny faces, and that's a good way to go either way. Because I'm all for this, and them in a feud with the Hype Bros on NXT is like my dream right now. That is what I want to see.
My God.
So it better happen.
Sponsored by Monster. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, bro. Do you have an energy?
Well, it would be 5-hour energy right now because they have the partnership with Brian on commercial.
Oh, there you go. I forgot about that. I don't know. I just always assume 5-hour energy looks too much like Stacker 2. So.
God,
it
sells now.
Those commercials.
But we were just a second ago talking about drunk people. Rosa Mendez, bringing up drunk people, is actually pregnant. So I mean, I guess that's really good news for her. Congratulations. And of course, we have some other interesting news that has come out of court.
At least it helps her stay sober.
You think so? There's some people that doesn't help.
I would hope so. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, talking about, helping people, let's talk about the fact that the IC title is probably not going to be defended in a triple threat manner until SummerSlam. And this may help you if you want to start caring about the feud, because right now I'm not there. So maybe that'll help me get into it, pushing it off a little bit later. So what do you think, though? I mean, is this the right time and place to do this? Because I kind of wish they would have just either done this on Raw and got it over with, or if they're going to make it better, okay, put it on SummerSlam. But that's just my opinion.
Well, they're probably just waiting for They probably just figured Ryback would be ready by SummerSlam, not anytime before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen his leg?
Yeah, that's a disgusting picture.
That was awful. I saw it, but I wasn't sure how long he was actually out and how recent that picture was. So I'm guessing he's going to be right.
Like that week.
Was it that week? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, I mean, I'm guessing that Ryback will be ready right before we get to SummerSlam.
So if he doesn't wrestle at SummerSlam, they better strip him of the title since, they strip Daniel Bryan every time he holds the championship.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, I'm assuming they would, because really the IC title being in limbo doesn't help anybody. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see. You know, Daniel Bryan usually is the first guy to get picked on, it seems. But, you know, talking about this and the fact that this is going to be a triple threat, do you guys think that maybe they should go away from the triple threat, maybe take it back down to just a singles match? Because to me, I feel like it'd probably be better singles match. I think I'd be more interested. Triple threat, we've seen those matches so many times with these guys.
Well, I think that the plan was they would do the triple threat battleground, and it would lead to the Big Show Ryback blow off. Because you remember, their last match ended in a no contest, so I figured that's where they were going with it, to kind of invent his mind. Well, beating Big Show will make Ryback a star for some reason, but that's where I thought the story was going.
It
but
also seemed to be headed towards Miz winning the title again. But
I couldn't see that. I felt like they were on the board of the Ryback train for a while.
I mean, it felt like a way to...
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It just felt like a way to keep lining up challengers around Ryback, even though they weren't particularly interesting. Although Miz, I feel like, might be gaining some steam just because he's great at being a heel. He's just not facing somebody interesting right now in the Big Show, whose biggest thing to date so far has been punching him in the face. So,
yeah,
that seems to be the thing for Big Show.
Yes.
Recently.
It's so sad. Every time I see Big Show, I think of Big Pillow, because that's what I want to grab. But, you know, thinking about the fact that, you know, this is going to be, you know, a triple threat at SummerSlam, I just wish that they pushed it off a little longer and make it a Bash at the Beach. To me, that'd be a better idea, especially since WWE's thinking about doing a special called Bash at the Beach. They're going to return back to the WCW form, I guess, in a way, huh? So what do you guys think about that? Do you think it'd be kind of cool to see this actually come to fruition if they were to bring this this kind of show back?
I think it's a good idea. They should be exploring more of these kind of ideas. It helps more with network subscriptions. They should be, you know, continually thinking outside the box. So if they want to do a Bash at the Beach show, yeah, go for it. And I would love for that show to even do well, to convince it to do other kind of shows like that.
Right.
It makes me wonder, Sean, do you think that would actually be as successful as Beast in the East? Because that was kind of a special thing. Bash at the Beach, I guess you could consider special, but does it have the power behind it that Beast in the East did?
I mean, they could always do what DDT does. You know, they could have matches in the water. That would certainly... So, you know,
DDT has had matches in theme parks before. I mean,
I mean, it's not like, you know, like it couldn't happen. Just it's a joke. But you know, why not? I mean, if you make it a big deal and you put it in the right setting, and I mean, I don't know that you can actually have it on the beach, but you know, you can get as close as you can, maybe, and you. I really don't know what you could really center it around, but why not? I mean, I think at this point, you announce any special, people are going to watch it. Whether they make whether they make a big deal out of it afterwards, or they ruin it like the King of the Ring, that won't matter because people watch the show already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what they want is people to watch the show. You make a special, call it Bash at the Beach or On the Beach or whatever the hell, something beach, they'll watch it because you're telling them you're going to get 2 hours of more wrestling, and that's what the network needs, more live wrestling on the. I mean, if we're going to talk about specials, if you're going to have Brock and Jericho in MSG, that better be taped.
Yeah, I would assume
that should be a special on the network.
Well, they also got Taker working the Mexican tour too, so that should be taped as well.
Yeah, pick one, and then the biggest arena, and there you go. We have a special from WWE Mexico. Why not?
They should do it around Day of the Dead. I think that's when the tour is around that time.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that would be
go.
awesome.
Cool.
I really would. I look forward to that.
Too bad Mil Muertos can't show up.
I know. You read my mind. Oh, it's awesome. You know what? We're seeing these kind of specials happen, and WWE's trying their best to get the network going in that direction. Having specials and getting big numbers, and hopefully gaining new subscribers. Something that WWE's doing, or maybe this is not really that they're doing. I need to rephrase this. There has been a big rumor. Now, let me say that big title, capital letters, rumor that WWE may be shopping Main Event and Superstars and possibly NXT to Destination America. Now, this is, of course, maybe a little slight slap in the face to ROH and TNA, of course, if this is actually true. But what would you guys think about that? If that was to actually come to fruition, you get maybe just two of them, maybe Superstars and Main Event, and at maybe a possibility NXT. What would your thoughts be on that?
I can't see. Well, at first, I don't think it's true, but if it was, I can't see them taking NXT off the network. I think they want to keep it as a network exclusive thing as an additional incentive. And with Superstars and Main Event, the same thing is going to happen to when they went on WGN with it. Like the first couple shows will be star heavy, and then they'll just go back to being the same old. Oh, Curtis Axel versus Zack Ryder as your main event. And no one's going to watch those two. So,
Yeah, I agree totally, and I think NXT. I mean, Paul, what do you think on that? I mean, NXT's definitely got to stay on the network.
Yeah, I think Chris nailed it. You leave NXT on the network, it gets people to want to buy the network, and I, it's whatever. I mean, Destination America clearly is in the market for some kind of wrestling, and WWE obviously is the biggest show in town, so. If TNA's not working out for them and they figure out or decide that ROH isn't working out for them and they want to put on a low-rent WWE television show, then go for it.
How sad is that? That your first-run show, if you're TNA or ROH, now ROH sort of has a caveat that they run their show on other channels on other days. But if you're TNA and you get replaced by Main Event and Superstars, what does that say about your company? I mean... NXT I could kind of understand, but not Main Event Superstars. You know what? They're stupid if they make the first ever commercial of the home of NXT being the WWE Network, and you tell us what's going to be on NXT in a couple days. On Raw, by the way. And then you're shopping NXT around to TV. That's stupid. Like... Make that commercial a thing you do every week to get people to pay attention to the network and all that stuff. You need to attract more people to the network, not take away from it. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people that might have Hulu as well, and you can watch it on there, but there's a lot of people that don't have it, and they do have the network, and you need to get people to... Anything you can do to attract people to your network and get more than the 1.2 or 1.3 or whatever... You need to keep that.
Mm-hmm.
Main Event gets posted, I think, like 3 weeks behind at this point, and Superstars is what it is. So it would be no loss at all if they move that around. I mean, it would be cool to see Main Event kind of be sort of important again. I still think you can use that show. See, that's the show you can use to further. If you, something we can talk about, I guess, right now, if you do want to bring out a Divas Tag Team Title, that's the show you can use to further that. That's the show you can use to further the IC title since you don't focus on it that much. That's the show. You can use that show for good things if you want to. It's just, WWE has no incentive to do that right now.
Yeah, they don't. And you're completely right on that, Sean. They've got to find ways to continue and progress and make their product better instead of just kind of having these shows be there and not really do anything. They really need to work on them and try to get things in order. SmackDown, we've been preaching that for a long time, make it important again. And they've tried to do it, and I'm assuming they probably will make it more and more, watchable. Because right now, a lot of times we still say, Raw recap, why watch it? Now they've recently have been adding things to make it better and maybe have more continuity towards Raw. So, we'll have to see in the future. And talking about the future, they've been talking about the Divas Revolution. And they've also been talking about backstage maybe having a tag team belt for the Divas division. What do you guys think about that? Now, do you think this would help, or do you think it would just be another, couple belts that may not be used very much or may not be that important?
Back at Night of Champions 2008, I believe, Vince looked at the card and said, "We have too many championships." So fast forward to now, if he had the Divas Tag Team title to the mix, I would just be like, oh, God, another championship that they're not going to care about. They have to work on this Divas thing first before they ever even consider introducing another belt into the mix. Like with this Divas Evolution thing, I don't even know where this is going. Are they even building to a title match at SummerSlam with all these random matches? They keep pinning each other, and there's no kind of story with it. They have to stick to that first before they even consider adding anything else to this.
Hey, Chris nailed it. This isn't the first time we've heard talk of it. This probably won't be the last time we hear talk of it, but they don't need this right now. They need to straighten out the Divas division. They need to figure out what they want to accomplish with that division right now, stick to that, and focus on good storytelling.
If we're going to entertain the idea of it happening, they have enough to make 6 teams, which would be good foundation for the division. Because you're obviously going to have to do the old school style of you're going to have to use the same people that you're using as singles as also tags, which really isn't a bad idea. I don't know where Vince came up with this idea that you can't have people doing 2 things at once, and then just has kind of gone with that throughout the rest of this, for a long period. But yeah, it's what they said. I posted about it in the Facebook group too, that they don't even know what they're doing with the Divas Revolution right now. They don't even know. I mean, there's a way to logically build a Survivor Series and have the team blow off there, and it just doesn't seem like they
there's no way they can get there at this point.
They get the concept of, okay, we need to make them have longer matches and they need to be good and whatever, but at least give us a singles match. If you're not going to give us a Nikki Bella versus somebody for the Divas title, at least give us a singles match with somebody, because they need the platform and they need the time to show you that what we saw with Sasha and Paige can be done by everybody that's there. And that's the point that's going to grab people for that division. And then you have to start building a story. Establish the teams all you want, but if there's nothing going on other than we're trying to revolutionize the Divas. Okay, this is like when Bray Wyatt talks about, I'm doing a revolution. Revolution of what? Of you blabbing on for 20 minutes and then being incoherent and nobody understands you and no one cares? I mean, we're going to get like that eventually if they do not develop some kind of feuds between... All it takes is little things. Just little things that you can do to plant seeds so that when you're done with this team crap, you can already have built-in feuds. And
speaking of little things, why doesn't Sasha come out with her title belt? That always irks me so much. It's so small, but it would add so much to their little group if she would come out with the belt. They call her their champion anyway, so...
I agree with you on that one. It bugs me.
Maybe they feel like it's overshadowing what they're trying to do.
I guess they think that people are stupid and will think that... I swear it has to do with they don't want people to want that NXT Women's title to be the title. I think that has to be it. Because I think everybody that sees
on that train of view too. I kind of think the same thing.
Everybody that sees that title has to say, that looks better than the butterfly thing. I mean, it's cool because it has its little pink touches, but it's not like in your face. Oh, this is a belt for girls. Everybody, like, it's respectable. It's something that if I'm anybody, I want to carry that. It shows, okay, it's feminine or whatever, but it's not in your face. It's something anybody can hold, and it's cool, and
it's something you could take to like talk shows and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Who wants to show that butterfly thing on the soup, whatever, the talk or whatever the hell those shows are called? But Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only place you can take that butterfly belt is maybe to the O Network, you know.
Exactly.
Besides that, I mean, I don't know where else it's that entertaining. So maybe
You can take it to the dumpster. It'll be very entertaining there.
just have a Luncher Blaze show back up. Let me take that from you. Hold on a second.
She might. I want to see her rip that in half. Really.
Yeah.
She would probably do that.
Just try it.
I can understand the branding thing, but we used to have a women's title and them still be called Divas. I don't understand what the big deal is.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I did like that Paige did mention changing the name of the Divas title to the women's title. Like, yes, that should have happened years ago.
Are we talking about that today? I didn't mention that, but
No, we don't actually have it on the. You can talk about it, Sean.
do we want to talk about the? Did you watch it, Paul? The Paige Stone Cold podcast?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Well,
Yeah.
Chris, I guess we can discuss it here with Gary.
Yeah. What did you think, Chris?
It was good. There wasn't any new. I mean, besides the fact that Paige has scoliosis, like myself, it was kind of cool hearing. But I've seen the Paige documentary of her family. I forgot what it's called, but Fighting with My Family on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I already know a lot about Paige's characters from that. So it was just very entertaining watching Paige be very nervous around Steve Austin. That's what I'll say. She's always she's stumbling over her words, playing with her hair. It's she's very, very nervous.
You talking about somebody playing with their hair. I don't think I've ever seen someone play with their hair as much as Paige during that entire interview. Lord.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you're 22, 23, sitting across 5 feet away from your idol in wrestling. I might be pooping myself too, you know?
No, I understand that point. That's just... That was just so funny to me.
It was also funny. I loved how Paige kept mentioning Austin as her inspiration, and Austin just no-selling it. Let's move on. Let's talk about something else. Just Austin.
Yeah.
He might have felt weird. This girl is my, just. I don't know. What do you say to that really after the first time of somebody saying it to you?
I can picture Steve being like, "Well, son, if you were only a couple years older, me and you could get a six-pack and just have a nice old time."
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Stone Cold, I mean, just during the whole time, you're just kind of mad dogging at times, just kind of staring, listening, staring. And unfortunately, I guess you can't help it, though, because all you hear is because you couldn't stop talking. That one shuts her job, but at the same time, it was whoa, man,
she
she
was
just go
nervous.
on and on. Well, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad, I mean, it's very interesting stories about her family and all that stuff. It's very interesting, and it wasn't bad at all. I just think it is kind of funny because you kept talking and talking and talking. So,
Yeah,
it was a very good interview. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, you learn a lot about how she's really old school about how she had to come up and take down the ring, put it up, and wrestle, hurt, and do all this stuff. And I like the whole when she first came into NXT and everybody, she tried to do the whole thing where somebody messed up and you smack them when they mess up, or that she was rushing, so she smacked them, and then they're like, "You can't do that here." And she's like, "What? Why?" It's just, I don't understand. Just. I thought she was really candid in the interview. That's what I appreciated. It didn't feel fake at all. She felt honest. That was really nice about it. Because when you had Triple H and Vince on, sometimes they were being honest. Sometimes you could tell that they were just doing PR stuff and trying not to say certain things and whatever. That's what sucks though, because you can tell Austin had this whole deal already set up for Hogan. And then when that didn't happen, he kind of just had to scramble and watch things. And I still can't believe he binge-watched Tough Enough and then says that Tough Enough is good right now.
I don't think he really thinks that. I can't think that he thinks that.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that if he binge-watched it and his head didn't explode is a miracle.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, he says he loves reality TV. Well, of course, he makes money off it. That's how he pays his bills.
Yeah, but how can you and he says that right afterwards too. He says, I'll tell you if I think it's bad. And how can you with a straight face go, it's good. It's a good show.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. You've got to be shitting me, Steve Austin. Like, come on, man. I love the fact that like Jericho asked people on Facebook, and every comment was, "I'm sorry, but it sucks." Like, just
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody sees this from USA or WWE, like, please, if for some reason this gets another season, you cannot have it be like this. It is absolutely an abomination. And then, it's just, and the Miz has made it worse.
Yeah.
Like, he's great on the tough talk thing, but he is terrible as a judge. Like,
yeah, he's great as a host, but as a judge, it's just like, are you like if I was Maurice and watching him, like, is he like screwing Amanda behind the scenes or something, or?
Yeah, like, I mean, it's just, I don't get that guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did like This Week on Tough Enough. You can clearly see Brian is getting really frustrated with the show.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's not, I mean, he's not understanding because, like, he's thinking people are going to be passionate and be like him or whatever. And I mean, if Paige hadn't saved the chick or whatever, they would have made the third week in a row. They just totally eliminated somebody that was going to be good. You know, it just, I don't understand this is why you don't let people vote.
It's like what we were talking about too, Sean. How I'm not gonna say if, because it's probably likely that ZZ and Sarah Lee are gonna win. Those poor bastards are gonna walk into that locker room and just gonna get completely shit on.
Yeah, especially if ZZ still looks that way when he walks in. Like, dude, come on, man. Like, one thing is to be Bull Dempsey, and that guy has a track record, and a lot of that's being played up for show as part of his gimmick. But for you to, like, just knowingly, the guy's yelling at you that you still don't do cardio, like, come on. Nobody's asking you to lose 100 pounds or whatever. Look at Kevin Owens. I mean, you can see the guy's got through his T-shirt. That's why he wrestles with a T-shirt on. But he goes out there and he has 30-minute matches. That dude's going to get blown up in 2 minutes. Like, you can't do that. And then Sarah Lee, she seems like she's sort of getting it, but it's just... when you talk about somebody having their head in the clouds, that's what she seems like every time you watch her do anything. It's so. I don't know why I'm talking so much about this dumb show.
No, this thing is whole transformed into a Tough Enough talk, but no, I mean it is
because we want to go on rants about how terrible it is. It's,
trust me, I'm biting my tongue. I'm trying not to do the same.
Gary, I want to hear you rant. You don't rant on anything.
Oh, never rant. I never do.
But
yeah.
Gary, do you watch Tough Enough, Gary?
Gary?
What is it, Chris?
Do you watch Tough Enough?
I do, sadly.
I'm curious. What are your thoughts on the show? I don't think I ever asked you.
Okay, I probably have mentioned this a few times, but I mean, just really honestly, it's all for, I really honestly believe this, it's all for teenagers or for people who don't really care as much about wrestling as much as they do is seeing people basically do the real world, do different stunts, do different things. It's about motivation. That's not what this is supposed to be about. Yeah, sure, you need motivation as a wrestler, but don't have to show me some kind of skit or jump through tires or do an obstacle course to show me motivation. Show me motivation after you make them, run the ropes 50 times and see how motivated they are to run another 50. I want to see that kind of stuff. I want to see more in-ring action. It's way too reality TV. It's not enough, sport. It's supposed to be, it's sports entertainment. The sport part of it's about 5% of the show. And I don't like that. I just don't. At least when we watch Raw, at least we get a better sense of, actually in-ring action. It's not all about all the outside stuff. This is just completely the opposite. I'm sorry. I just don't like the show very much. They've eliminated all the good talent so far. All the bad talent is still there, and that's why you're going to get ZZ and Sarah to win this show. It sucks. I'm sorry. And
it's not only that. They're getting more money than most of those people in NXT are getting.
Oh.
So you're going to walk in to a locker room with people making way less money than you, and you look like you don't give two shits. I mean, like, that's just not... that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Even Triple H in that interview that he did about NXT said he doesn't have a lot of faith in the people that are left. I mean, that should tell you all you need to know right there.
Exactly. I mean, I don't understand why they couldn't have used the original thought process of this show. I mean, this is what we were hearing all the time: is Tough Enough is not going to be anything about people from the outside. It's going to be about NXT stars trying to make it up the ladder. And guess what? They scrapped that idea and they said, "Hey, all you people who don't have much talent, hey, come and try this." It'd be like the NFL coming out with a reality TV show. Hey, Gary, you want to come and play wide receiver? I know you don't know anything and you don't have the cardio to do it, but let's put you on TV anyway. It's just ridiculous.
The guy has a great character. Let's not throw that under the bus. I mean,
I'm not talking about I'm talking about everybody.
Well, no, but okay, ZZ winning is not the worst thing because he could be a great character. The problem is you can't just be a character and never perform in the ring and whatever, and because a lot of that stuff can be taught. But if you're not doing the basic stuff, whatever. I don't understand where somebody came and said, let's take the wrestling part is the reason other people that don't like wrestling are going to watch this. If we make it like American Idol, more people will watch it. Well, you know what? The ratings are in, and that's the part they do not care about at all.
It's all a work. It's all a work. All the shows you watch that are reality TV, they're all works. Dancing with the Stars, Chris Jericho said it himself. The judges watch the show before they actually get up there and judge. Same with this show. I really do believe that I think they figured out, okay, we want this person and this person to be the story of the week. Let's put them on TV and have them play the story out, and now I don't think that some of the things that are completely a work, but I think a lot of it is. I really feel that way.
Oh, it is. All reality TV is a work.
So, but anyway. Well, I think we should step away from Tough Enough. I think people are probably getting bored and probably thinking, oh, do I want to hear that? Let's talk about something else that's very interesting. We just, I don't know, about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, we talked about the fact, no, it wasn't that long ago, actually. Recently, when we were talking about Juice and Liger actually going to be a part of the WWE's big show for the NXT Brooklyn show, we've talked about the fact that, ROH was not happy about this because they had their kind of deal with New Japan. They were using their talent. Now that Juice and Liger is going to go over to NXT, that kind of cuts in on their business a little bit. And especially since they're going to have a show the same night the NXT is, they kind of feel like, hey, what's New Japan double dipping?
Same area.
Yep, same area. You're completely right, Sean. So basically, New Japan gets the double dip on sending their guys to two different promotions that are actually battling it out. But, to make nice, New Japan has said, Ring of Honor, we are going to do you one. We are going to give you Goto.
Yay!
So there you go, Ring of Honor. I think that's a good enough apology if you ask me. So accept it. So, yes, you're going to get to see Goto on Ring of Honor. But, I don't know about you guys, but, I mean, I guess it's fair. I mean, they're sitting in one of their biggest stars, so, I mean, how can you hate?
I'd say it's fair too. Like I don't see why Ring of Honor had this big think about this of Liger being on NXT when Liger's always been that kind of guy to just kind of travel around different companies and stuff. So I never got their kind of beef of that.
Well, I mean, Ring of Honor and New Japan have had this deal for a while. They're trying to do business together, and I guess Ring of Honor just thinks it looks poorly with New Japan working with another company. I mean, obviously Ring of Honor is not on New Japan's level or anything like that, but it's still, I guess, they felt like they had something special. It's like a relationship. They felt like they had something special, and now you found out the other guy's in the bed with someone else. I mean, probably hurt and pissed off.
So in your scenario, Paul, is Ring of Honor playing the John Cusack with the boombox standing outside of New Japan's window?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I love Say Anything.
but honestly, is that's Goto's first ever time going for an ROH show, so that's pretty cool. I mean, he's never gone to the other ones. So sending him, that shows I think you're really trying to make up here. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's a case of let's not kid ourselves. If WWE came knocking, New Japan's saying yes because they're modeling themselves after what WWE's doing.
Right.
Almost everything they're doing right now is they want to go public. They did the NXT thing, everything. I mean, so why not work with the other big company? I mean, look, WWE just had a show over there. People know what WWE is. It's not like WWE's foreign. WWE is foreign, but they're not foreign to them. So I wonder if it's a case of there was an idea possibly working together, and then with all the hoopla that came out, maybe it was nixed, or Triple H wants to see how this goes off with Liger before he commits to something, or it's just going to be a bunch of one-offs, and they don't really have a relationship per se. We're not going to get like a big, New Japan WWE NXT show. Not to mention some of the big guys coming over there. You still have to wonder if that's disrespectful. Like, it's still WWE's developmental show. Like, imagine Nakamura showing up on NXT, and it's like, this guy's good enough to be on Raw every week. Like, just you have to wonder if New Japan would see it that way to begin with. ROH doesn't have, they have their pay-per-views and all that kind of stuff, but they don't have like different sets of shows like WWE does. So, it's really cool for ROH. I think that this kind of says that they've restructured their thing. The ROH booker's apparently going to come talk with Ghetto about what they're going to do in 2016. So I think all is good. And if we do see more WWE stuff with New Japan, I think ROH just kind of needs to learn to deal with it and know that they've got the better deal at this point.
Yeah, they do have the better deal. They have hamburger or cheeseburger on their roster, so
can't even remember your favorite guy's name, Gary.
I know, man, it's hard. I want to call him Bacon Double Ultimate Cheeseburger, but it ain't.
That would require him to have, not be as skinny. So.
Yeah, you're true. That's true. But I do want to say this, Chris. I do kind of agree with you on the fact that it's Jushin Liger. I mean, he's been a star for a long time. He's a long time veteran.
This screams to me Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sean.
Like, look at the video they made for the guy. That's a Hall of Fame video. They just want video of him showing up on a WWE show so that he can be put in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a bad thing at all. That's really cool, actually. That you can say, look at all the stuff he did in WCW, look at all this other stuff. He had one final, show that we're going to mention in America, and it was with NXT. How cool was that? And then look, now he's going in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. I really, really hope that, the NWO and DX don't show up during that match. We'll see. We'll see. Don't count him out. Just saying.
Maybe that's why Tiger Mask has stopped being in the G1 shows. He's going to show up and, because they can't be too far apart.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So, well, guys, that pretty much wraps up our big quick hits. A lot of great, topics this week to talk about. But, of course, next week we'll have more for you guys, more interesting tidbits. And, of course, throughout the show, we have some of the other quick hits that we wanted to save until we actually talk Monday Night Raw, NXT, and, of course, our other shows, ROH, TNA, and Lucha Underground. So, you want to stick around for the entire show because some of the other big news topics aren't getting covered until then. We're going to jump into Monday Night Raw next, but I want to give Chris the leeway. I know, man, sometimes you stay, sometimes you can't. What's the deal tonight? Are you there, Chris? Did he go bye-bye?
He's still here. I don't know if...
You mean I had to step away?
I might have to step away.
Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and jump into some money? Oh, there you are, Chris.
I was going to say, unfortunately, I can't stay. I have some stuff I got to get taken care of. But I pretty much mentioned what I kind of wanted to about the whole... I think of Raw was the whole Divas thing. Like, the story it's cool we're getting these matches, but what's the story here? What's the match for SummerSlam that they're building to, That's the one thing I just really wanted to mention. So
before you go, what do you think about the Rollins and Cena thing, them kind of doing the ROH storyline?
Stealing ROH is a little thing? Yeah. The minute Rollins mentioned that, I was like, oh, so they really are carpeting ROH. Okay. It's an interesting kind of... It's a little dynamic they're adding to this match now. It's more is on the line. and the finish gives me more unpredictable. I still think Cena's winning now. I think Cena's probably going to win. I'll just make my SummerSlam prediction right now. Cena wins. Sheamus cashes in because they'll want to sweep. They want to get Cena to 17 quickly as possible. So they'll make the 16th run not mean as much because it's just tying Flair. So Sheamus will cash in after beating Orton. And then Cena keeps the U.S. title, but Sheamus is his WWE Championship.
That's fair enough.
So I can't see Rollins ending Cena's U.S. title run. So
yeah, I'm right there with you. It's going to be an interesting dynamic to see how they actually do it, but I could totally see where you're coming from on that. I really do.
And plus two, I made this joke in the little trend. I actually think Vince is thinking this. Football's about to start. Ratings aren't really good right now. Taker and Brock are not going to be around at SummerSlam. They're going to put the focus back on Cena, so I think they're going to take the belt off Rollins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some people would say that's not a bad thing. And I don't know if I really believe that, but John Cena is going to eventually get that title again. He's eventually going to tie Ric Flair for the most championships. So why not do it right now? That's the way I look at it. Yeah, just get it done. Rip the Band-Aid off for us. So, we really appreciate you calling in, Chris. Man, it's always great to hear from you, man. And if anytime you ever want to just call in or anything, make sure you do. Anything you need to plug before you get out of here?
I will be actually reviewing on my little podcast, the Nerd AF podcast, my review of Fantastic Four. And if you've never heard me angry and cursing a lot, that's probably what's going to happen at this review. That movie literally I wanted to take a gun and just shoot me. Oh, no, actually, I shouldn't say that. Everything going around. But good God, that movie is terrible. So I'm going to have a lot of fun reviewing it.
Oh, man. Well, do we at least get a Deadpool moment in that movie? I think I heard somewhere there was some Deadpool talk about him being in the movie somewhere. I don't know.
The screening I watched didn't have the trailer. I think it was just the trailer being attached to it. It didn't have the trailer attached to it. So.
Okay. I see.
But trust me, you don't want Deadpool in this thing at all. You want him far away from it's a piece of crap.
Oh, we can't wait to hear it. And give us the name of that podcast once again, just in case someone didn't catch it.
Oh, it's a Nerd AF podcast. And, AF, obviously you can tell where we're going with that.
Yeah, there you go. That's awesome, Chris. Well, we would definitely encourage everybody to go check out that podcast. It's a great one. And we'll be talking to you soon, Chris, man. And we'll be seeing you around.
All right. See you guys.
Later. That is Chris Limsky, the fourth co-host of our show, and so glad to have him back again. Once again, Quick Hits is sponsored by Math Tumbler. Math Tumbler is a fun game that's mathematically, just for fun for the entire family. Go check it out on any Android Play, the Play Store, and of course you can download that. If you can't find it, make sure you scroll down. It's going to be there for you guys to go check out. The developers are really great people, and they made sure that they made this game fun and entertaining for everybody. And plus, hey, you get a little smarter on the way, so go check out that game. But now, guys, we are going to move on to Monday Night Raw, and we'll be right back after this. No music?
I'm dumb. I grabbed all the freaking ones. Hold on, and didn't grab the one for Raw. I'm on the ball today.
Don't worry about it. Paul?
Hold on. Here we go. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know what I was thinking. Here we go.
WWE Monday Night Raw.
You stole the thunder. I wanted Paul to sing it because Paul always does a good job impromptu singing our theme. So, anyway.
You want to tell everybody tonight is the night, Paul?
I think that's
bright lights, hype crowd, everybody get down. Tonight is the night.
There you go, Chris. That Christopher Walken impression.
Cue the cowbell.
Take it away, Sean.
All right, before we get into Raw, I should remind you that if this is the first time you're listening to the show, thank you very much. And thank you to everybody else that listens every week. We shouldn't forget about you. We do have other ways you can get in contact with us. If you want to email us any questions you have, or just to tell us whether the show is great or sucks or whatever, it's wrestlingtothemax@gmail.com. We have a Facebook group. Just search Wrestling to the Max on Facebook, and you just press a button to want to get approved to be in, and you can be in with a wonderful set of people that we talk Raw on Mondays, pay-per-views. Sometimes we talk about the Wednesday shows if I happen to be off, because apparently everybody else forgets that there are Wednesday night shows if I'm not around doing a thread, I guess. You can follow us on Twitter at Wrestling2Max without the, and I've been live tweeting those G1 shows in the morning when they're on, and Raw and everything at the pay-per-views and all that other stuff. I appreciate the people that are, saying nice things, because that's always appreciated, obviously. It's better than hearing terrible, negative things. And you can always rate and review on iTunes and Stitcher, because that helps us out more than probably anything else that you can do, aside from subscribing, obviously. So that'd be cool if you did that. Yeah, so I guess now we can start Raw. I'm doing this because a little teaser. Gary and I got approached by somebody that wants to sponsor the podcast. He's writing a book that has to do with wrestling and other things. And we might be doing where we have to do like live reads for him or whatever. And this would probably be the spot where we do it. So this is kind of why I just started doing just telling you about the podcast here too, so that you can kind of get used to. Right before we start Raw, there's going to be a little bit of us talking about other things really quick. But yeah, he sent me the whole book. I got to read a little bit of it. It's pretty interesting, but we'll get to talk about that once I figure out all the details with this person. But yeah, so Raw was live from San Jose, California. It started out with Seth Rollins, who he did get to do some of this on SmackDown, but this was on a much higher scale because now he gets to show off his new t-shirt that says "Never Shuts Up and You Can't See Knee," which is awesome.
10 out of 10 would buy again.
Yeah, exactly. We even get a "Thank You Rollins" chant from the crowd here as we are re-shown the damage that John Cena did, or not, that John Cena suffered at the hands of Seth Rollins because of that knee to the face and the terrible bloody nose that he suffered during that match last week. And we get another "Thank You Rollins" there. He basically talks about how this is the place to be, and he cracks Cena's nose and all this other stuff. And the big announcement we get is a winner take all at SummerSlam, title for title. We're going back to WrestleMania 6 here. Well, we mentioned the whole taking from ROH. I think Chris's scenario is very plausible. I even think that we may not even get a finish. I think Sheamus might do what Rollins did and make it a triple threat or something. It just seems tailor-made for Sheamus to show up. I can't imagine we're really going to have one of them just walk away with both belts. But what do you guys think? Do you like the idea? And what do you think might happen?
So I'm fine with the belt for belt. I think it's a great way to go to continue to add to stacking this card that WWE is so dead set on promoting as being, their next biggest show after WrestleMania and all that stuff. I'm just not sold on Sheamus cashing in yet. I feel like it's too soon. I don't know if Sheamus is where they want him, is where he should be to hold that belt right now. And it might just be because I'm really into Seth's run right now. I'm sure a lot of people have criticized it. I know we've talked about it on the show before, but I enjoy it. So I'm hopeful they don't lift the belt off him. I'm very hopeful, however, we get like a no finish, somehow, some way that we don't have to worry about a belt moving around.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, and I don't want the belt to move around per se. I'm not sold if I'm really ready for Cena to be the U.S. and World Champion. I just don't know if I'm ready for that. I just don't think it's going to happen that way. I think both these guys should be safe, even if it does take Sheamus, even if it does take other circumstances. I just don't know if it's going to happen. If it does, it does, and I probably won't just fall over and cry about it. But it's just, I think that either of these guys having two belts doesn't really serve them well. WWE doesn't really do well at times when guys are doing those, not unified, but holding two belts. So I think it'll be, one of those situations where we'll have to wait and see. But it makes me very, very nervous.
Yeah, I kind of want to see what's going to happen with this too. Because, I don't know that I'm totally sold on just Cena walking away and being double champion, and then him letting... I really don't want to see him lose this U.S. title like that, where he just drops it and nobody gets to rub off of him losing it to them. I really want to see him have to drop it to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the point of, okay, he drops it, he never loses it, and then you just have a tournament. I mean, what purpose did that serve then? I mean, you elevated the title, great, but I don't know. Just, there's this thing of, you really made it a big deal, and then the guy who won it and has been defending it, he's not going to lose it? I mean, it just seems kind of silly. So, if you're going to do it where no title moves around, great. I really just don't see Sheamus as champion. He's not doing anything, and he's not going to do anything for your needle at all. If you're worried about ratings and all that stuff, having Sheamus get the shock win is not going to get anybody to really watch Raw, other than maybe the initial Raw after or something.
Right.
So have him lose, Rollins keeps the belt or something, and Cena keeps his, or you do the double champion thing, which I could see Cena doing what Jay Lethal's doing right now, which would be a total rip-off of ROH, but Cena can make it work. Because it's not like the WWE title gets defended every week, so he could still be defending his U.S. title, and then he does his monthly 30. So let's say that, because I don't see Rollins doing that. If Rollins wins, he's dropping the U.S. belt to nothingness. So what do you think? If let's say Cena did go that route, would you guys be cool with that?
If they're willing to go that route, Cena is the one guy they have right now who could do that. Because one, now you get to give the rub to two people, you get to keep the U.S. title looking fine, and you have the WWE Championship on your biggest star once again, if you really want to go that way. It makes sense. I don't know... And you know, with the year he's been having so far, I can't say I would be entirely disappointed either, so...
Yeah, he's having a great year. It's just... I just don't... I mean, okay, yes, he could be the guy, and I think Paul's right. He could be the better guy to do it, especially with his fantastic matches, with him doing everything that he's doing for some of the other talent. But on the other hand, I'm just still not sold on it.
Does it hurt Rollins if he loses the belt? Like, are you suddenly less interested in him because he's not champion?
No, because now it's about what he's going to do to try to get it back. Because his run hasn't been about him being this, stand-up guy. It's been about him being chicken shit and hiding behind skirt tails whenever he can and whatever. Mm-hmm. So whatever he can do to get the title back, I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. My only worry would be, what would he do after that? After, trying to re-obtain the belt, Where does he go from there? That's what concerns me more than anything.
Yeah, because losing to Cena has not done well for a lot of people this year so far, despite having good matches with him.
Yeah, we can all discuss that at length about how that's not helped. But yeah, so I mean, moving on though, we go straight into Seth Rollins says he's going to have the first ever WWE Championship Open Challenge or whatever. Or at least for him, anyway. And Then JoJo comes out and says, well, is this going to be legit? Like, yes. And he says, well, yes, but there's two caveats. They have to be under 6 foot, and they have to be under 200 pounds. So she says, oh, well, then El Torito is going to wrestle you then. And they play their music. You think El Torito's about to come out, and then they switch it, they cut it off, and Neville's music plays. And hell yes, we get Seth Rollins versus Neville. Fantastic match. I really, really enjoyed this. I don't know anybody that didn't. I mean, this was great seeing Neville getting the deadlift German Rollins and just doing that corkscrew freaking whatever that was to the outside on a standing Rollins. That was awesome. The stuff with the referee where he just stops and it makes you think that, oh crap, Neville got robbed and all this stuff. Like, fantastic way to keep Neville strong. And there's seeds planted, maybe, if they want to go that route with him and Rollins sometime.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, not to mention. Go ahead.
Do you think like Neville, after maybe not that it's just a one match thing, but like, does this make you think that perhaps there's a possibility that you could see Neville maybe down the line be a world champion one day or whatever? I mean, to me, he showed that he could. If your champions are going to be of the Seth Rollins ilk going forward, after Cena at some point is done with being at that, being champion or whatever, why couldn't Neville be world champion? There wouldn't be I don't think it'd be a believability issue or anything, but what do you think?
I don't think it's ever been about a believability issue. Neville's all kind of talented in the ring. It's that mic work sometimes is just not the best. And Seth is an example of somebody coming very, very far on that way because he used to be just god awful on it. But if Neville can get better, I don't see why not.
I think, getting better than Mike, you're right, Paul, would definitely be a big plus for him. It would get him closer to that picture. But man, that's going to be a difficult task. I'll be honest with you. I think Finn Balor does a great job on the mic. I don't have a problem with him on the mic, but it does make me wonder if guys like Vince are eventually going to say, "Oh man, it's just the accent. It's just all the time. It kind of grinds on me." No, I'm saying that Sheamus has held the belt and done okay. Not long, not big, long. I'm trying to think what his longest run was. Maybe 6. Was it 6 months? Maybe his longest run? I'm not sure. I don't know. I just have fear for guys that are in that situation when it comes to, having that accent. But Neville definitely, I think, could hold the title, could do a good job, But, it just depends on how they want to put him over, how they want to portray him. And a lot of times they don't always do well by these guys. They kind of sell them short sometimes. So I think people always talk about the type of championship run that Seth Rollins has not been a good one. I disagree. I think he's done fine. I've enjoyed it. He's playing the role he's supposed to play. He's supposed to play the heel that gets away, that finds nefarious means to keep his belt. That's a great job. I think he's doing a good job of doing it. A lot of people say, oh, that's not a good run by him. No, I disagree. So anyway, Neville could do a good job at it too. And trust me, when this match came on and I thought El Torito was going to be going on and I was so excited, I was up out of my chair. I was stoked. I was going to get to see my dream match. They took it away from me, but thank God that Neville put on a great match in this one.
Sheamus' longest run with the WWE World Title was 91 days. His longest with the World Heavyweight Title was 210.
210. Okay, so and let's be honest, the World Heavyweight Title was not exactly the shiniest of them.
That run was not the most inspiring either. That's Big Show and Del Rio matches every week.
Yeah, so I think Vince can handle it a little bit, but not too much.
I was thinking the whole reason we were talking about that Divas Tag Team Title, the reason why it won't work is because they don't have Eric Young to go around carrying the Divas Tag belts.
You're right. You're exactly right. I'll have to hire the guy, and I don't think they're going to do that.
He could be the new Harvey Whippleman.
Oh yeah.
God.
I forgot he won the women's title at one point.
Jeez.
So, I mean, it can't be any worse than Santino, right?
Oh yeah. I missed that.
At least he tried to cross-dress. So, the first Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, there you go. See, WWE beat them.
So, Los Matadores did get to show up on the show to tag with the Lucha Dragons against New Day and the Ascension. Primetime players were once again on commentary, once again killing it. Maybe not as funny as the previous couple weeks, but they were still pretty good. This match was also pretty decent. Yeah, we're obviously building to a multiple tag team championship match. They also pretty much gave it away because Titus is like, well, you don't know. We could face all these teams. Well, thank you, Titus, for, giving it away. But either way, the New Day and Ascension win. And, because we get a Trouble in Paradise, I think, from, top rope while Sin Cara's trying to do the Swanton. Note to Sin Cara, though, don't do the Swanton to the outside, man, with nobody there. It's just that... Why? You're not doing yourself any favors. We don't need, the original Sin Cara problem of you getting hurt or anything. So we get New Day winning, even though they pretty much undid this on SmackDown with Mark Henry and the Primetime players beating them. So it just, again, nobody goes anywhere with this 50-50 booking stuff. But,
Yep.
What do you think of this? Is it building the tag teams at all for you, or creating interest in the other teams?
Not really, because we're not learning anything about characters other than primetime players, which I'm totally fine with. But it seems like the tag team division booking meeting seems to be spotlight the champions, keep everybody else 50-50. And that way, whenever we come to these big multi-tag matches at our bigger shows, we have them all ready to go. And somebody that you don't think could win. Maybe. Possibly. So it feels lazy. I tend to agree with Larry on this, but and they're talking about making Divas Tag Team titles. Wouldn't the booking be just as lazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, too, it's just... New Day. I mean, New Day is the only one that's established aside from Primetime Players, and I do like the fact that they keep the New Day and Primetime Players thing at the forefront. Like, they're not letting each other out of their sight, and I do appreciate that. Like, New Day know that they were the former champions and they shouldn't have lost, so they keep going at them because they feel like they need it. The other three really feel like they're just there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my biggest thing, too, like you were saying, Paul. Like, you can highlight that Kalisto's a great talent and everything, but I don't know anything about him other than that he's a great talent. I mean, the Matadors are what they... the problem is, too, it's you've got the two lesser tag teams in the whole division in there that I don't think WWE is ever going to care to tell you anything about because they're the Matadors and the Ascension. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going anywhere. So...
No one picked up on the racism in this? Where all the Mexicans had to team up. They didn't let, they couldn't mix tag.
Well, that's just a normal WWE thing.
We don't see color on this show, Gary.
Apparently WWE does, though. They try to blame Hulk Hogan for it, but they did it first. Anyway,
I know, that's what's so funny. Like, it's so hypocritical, this company, that will continually, unless your name is The Rock or certain people, like look at R-Truth. What's that guy been doing?
Mm-hmm.
Wearing something that's very racist while he battles King Barrett. And, just the teams not being able to... Why do the Primetime Players have to tag with Mark Henry? Against the other three black guys. I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
WWE is doing themselves no favors right now.
Not at all, and you hear about rumors of different gimmicks and things that people were supposed to do. We've heard recently, Brock Lesnar was supposed to be a gay wrestler, which it'd been interesting if it would have happened, but
No.
I'm just saying it interesting. I didn't say good, but there's some other things, like their thought process of, Truth. He's kind of gone insane. Then that he leaves the company and goes to work for KFC. Things like that are not good ideas. So yeah, they need to stay away from these situations. I think it's just funny, like you said. Hulk Hogan gets blasted. They cut the guy loose from everything they have because he says something, which they have every right. I'm glad they did. But then they do things like that. I'm kind of like, come on, guys. Anyway, off on soapbox. Go on.
So, this is where we get to the first Divas match here. I guess we'll go ahead and lump the other Divas so we don't have to talk about it again later. The first one, we do get the introduction of the Submission Sorority. Okay. Raise your hand if the first thing you thought of was, this is a porn name. Because that's what popped in my head when, as soon as they said the name, I'm like, man, this just doesn't sound very good at all. Not in a bad way, more like in a somebody's going to freak out as soon as they go on Google and search Submission Sorority. And in fact, that happened because Bang Bros has a... they apparently have some kind of show that has to do with them having a submission sorority, and they saw a 56% uptick in website traffic and 35% uptick in subscriptions after Raw on Monday.
Oh boy!
Wow, the power of WWE's marketing. You can even get them to subscribe to porn.
Oh my god!
Internet's a fun place, guys.
Oh yeah,
man.
that WWE's gonna get a nice fruit basket out of this.
They are. They said that they're going to give them a gift basket. I don't want to know what that gift basket is. But,
let's just say Stephanie's gonna enjoy it very much.
Yeah, probably. Apparently now they're going to go away from the Submission Sisters. They're now just going to call them PCB, Paige, Charlotte, and Becky. So the idea had been to call them Submission Sisters. SS is still like bad. You don't want that in your initials. So whatever. PCB, is that better? I don't.
Sounds like a drug to me, but
Yeah, no.
Either that or it's a shaved ice company. One of the two.
Why not just call them Team Good? I mean, we already have Team Bad. It's just, you can't get any worse.
Yeah, Team Good, Team Bad, and where's Team Ugly?
Rosa Mendes is pregnant. That's enough.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying you're going to go with the good, bad, and the ugly. I don't know. It's a good question. And the sisters part, I guess you could add that instead of sorority, whatever works. I don't know. I'm not even a big fan of these three women teams. They're okay for now. I get it why they're doing it. I am ecstatic when they can finally break up and be singles competitors, because I think that's when you're going to get the good stuff. I don't know why they have to be regimented to teams.
Well, that's what they want, right? They want you to identify them as, this is this team, this is what they do. I mean, I'm all for, I get what WWE is trying to do. They all have submissions and finishers. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Good idea. Not well thought out.
What if they just change it to the Malenko sisters?
If half the audience even knows who Malenko is, that would...
Yeah, I don't know.
Only if we get another segment with Jericho listing off submissions from a long sheet of paper again.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
So, okay, we have this tag match, Charlotte and Becky against the Bella Twins. I thought Becky finally got to showcase some stuff here. Even though Charlotte was the one that made Nikki tap out to the figure eight. thought it was good stuff. What did you guys think?
I did not mind either of the Divas matches or anything really. It was just nothing incredibly stand out, but it's still better than what we have been getting recently. So, go WWE, go Divas Revolution, go.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus. It is, and I don't know. I mean, I think what we're seeing here is what's interesting is the really with the team we're seeing on a roll here. It seems like is of course I don't know, Submission Sisters, we'll call them now. Although I would like a fruit basket. If you want to send a fruit basket, I'll say your name. But I just think it'd be kind of cool.
A porn company is not sending you a fruit basket, Gary. Stop living in dreamland.
God, I was hoping. Dreams will come true soon. But thinking about this, I think it's interesting that the one team that is on the roll is them, and then of course you got the team with Sasha Banks, and Team Bad, where they are doing well, but it's really Sasha Banks that's doing well. So it's kind of funny the dynamic they have here. They have certain girls that are getting over, which is good. I think kind of honestly they have the right ones getting over here. But it just makes me wonder. The Bellas are biding their time. They're biding their time. They're not going to let this happen very long. I am waiting until they start winning and being the dominant ones.
And that's the thing. They won on last week's SmackDown. I don't know about this week, so I didn't watch the whole thing. But it's just they're still doing the same thing. They're keeping everybody 50-50. It doesn't feel like there's progression happening, other than with the star power themselves that's happening out of this. But would it kill one of them to have them go on a win streak or something? I mean, I don't see the point of doing the same thing we keep doing with everybody. But I should not say that. Paige beat Naomi in the second match, which was pretty solid to me. She wins with the PTO, so we're putting over the submissions again, so it's totally fine. I don't know where to go. Other than I like the fact that we're letting them talk backstage and stuff. Like this started because Naomi. This didn't just happen. Like Naomi sat there and had a backstage thing where she wanted to challenge Paige, and because they have history, and then she says she's tired of hearing about Ronda Rousey and that they're the baddest woman on the planet and whatever, and it's silly. Especially we're going to send you to Freak Island. I don't know about where Freak Island is located, but, I mean, you've got Tamina on your team. When you're talking about Freak Island, that doesn't make much sense to me.
I imagine you would have to ask Big Papa Pump where Freak Island is.
Yeah.
I would love that. He comes in and that'd be awesome. Can we just have they should just have like a Scott Steiner thing of when people make up stupid phrases. I invented that.
Yeah.
And hey, JoJo has been getting a lot of screen time, so Sony must like her. Hopefully it's not Michael Hayes.
Oh no. Yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah, I mean. So after this week, we get to the more mid-card stuff with Kevin. This is where we get the Miz TV segment that you kind of heard at the beginning, where Miz talks about Piper. There's still people bitching and complaining about the fact that he said something nice about Piper and then went and cut a heel promo. Guys, who cares? Do you really care that much? Is it really that big a problem? I don't get. Sometimes people take this thing way too seriously about. Oh my God, he wasn't a heel for 10 seconds. The world ended.
It did.
Yeah, I did feel like the world ended though because Cesaro actually looked good on the microphone. I was floored at the fact that WWE didn't try to find some way to make him mess up on purpose or something. And Kevin Owens' line of "Let the people that can really fight deal with this" was awesome. Just made the whole thing for me. They brawled, and then Owens does his thing where he leaves. And we actually got the crowd to chant "Walk Owens Walk," so the thing's working. What'd you think?
I thought this was fine. I'm intrigued by this whole situation, but I don't know. Maybe it's just not connecting the way they wanted to with me, but I mean, it's interesting if not overly inventive, I guess is what I'm going for.
You know, I really this whole feud for me is about who it is. I'm a Kevin Owens guy. I've enjoyed his work at NXT. I'm getting more in favor of him as time goes over. Cesaro, I've been in favor of for a long time now, and so I think that's what's getting me through this. It's not so much the storyline. It's not so much what they're doing in the ring. I love both the guys and what they do in the ring, but I think Paul does have a point. It's not so exciting. It's not exactly the best thing going on the entire show. But you know, for me, it's tolerable compared to some of the other stuff. So I don't have much of a problem with it. This segment wasn't too bad. Once again, I have a lot of fears about Kevin Owens because this is good, but I'm just waiting for the time he's going to start feuding with Truth.
I think everybody has to go through a time where they feud with Truth. That just seems to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know. I don't know. I like it. I like it because Cesaro's getting to kind of get over. I mean, did you guys see the whole Cesaro section behind him when he made his entrance? I mean, that was insane. Like, that's like 7,000 people over there holding up Cesaro sections. I mean, it's thanks to one kid who decided that he wanted to print off all those signs or whatever. But still, you know, that's something. I mean, I'm sure WWE got to see that, and maybe Triple H is like, hey, you see, being Swiss, that's not a bad thing.
See, they have brass rings too over there in Switzerland.
Yeah,
They probably just have chocolate in them, though.
Oh, that's true. Gosh darn it.
Well, I mean, I definitely want to grab one of those.
Exactly.
But, yeah, I mean, you know what? It's about time somebody makes a big deal about Owens always walking away and stuff. So why not Cesaro? I mean, it would be much cooler if it was for the title and everything, the U.S. title, but it is what it is. I don't see why you couldn't make it a number one contender match, but, you know, WWE doesn't think that way, so. We get Mark Henry and Rusev in a Rusev is back to being racist mode where he just beats Mark Henry. Remember when that was a thing where he just beat black guys all the time?
Yeah.
We're back to this. And he just beats Mark Henry really quick. Yeah, and that was all it. There was nothing. I think he does have a talking. He has him and Roman Reigns have a thing on SmackDown, where Roman Reigns makes fun of him because he's creepy and had Summer Rae dress up as Lana. And Rusev's retort is that you will not talk bad about Hot Summer. I just love the fact that he just always calls her Hot Summer. Like, just that's just funny to me. Anyway,
Yeah, it is.
like, really, do you go around calling your wife certain adjectives before you say her name too, Gary? Is that?
Yeah. I'll just leave it alone right now. I want to live.
So yeah, King Barrett squashes Zack Ryder. I guess now that he's part of the Hype Bros, it doesn't matter what he does in singles, right? So.
Yeah.
And we get more Heyman talking about Undertaker, and then Brock getting to come out there and stand on some stairs and look awesome. And yeah, that's what you get. I mean, do you guys want to talk about that? I don't.
Standing on stairs. Not really. I don't have much to say.
I'm just wondering that maybe Rusev keeps calling her Hot Summer because he actually thinks that Summer is the entire season of Summer, you know? And he's just expressing something that is very true. It's hot. It is hot during summer.
Yeah.
Man, it's hot over here. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, can't deny that.
So we're just gonna say standard Heyman talking segment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the most part it is. You're right.
We get confirmation that Stephen Amell is going to be on Raw next week.
Yay!
Now I've heard rumors that people are talking about maybe a tag match with Neville and Amell against Stardust and whoever the Red Arrow is. I don't know if that's really going to happen or not, but I think that'd be a good way to keep Amell protected, and you still make it about Neville, and you don't have to have Neville get beat in order to get to this feud or whatever. What do you think, Paul?
Stephen Amell wrestling is where I'm at right now. This is going to be awesome.
No. This is going to be interesting. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I really am. And, you know, they've been doing this whole comic book gimmick, and actually see Stephen Amell involved in it and see what he says and how things work. I think it's going to be very cool. You know, I can't, you know, promise it will be, but I feel like it will be good.
Yeah, it feels high profile, but it doesn't feel like WWE has treated it quite like a high profile thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, but at least they're in a feud.
Right.
And they're putting time into it on Raw, and we're getting to see Stardust continue to... He doesn't do it on this promo. It's not long enough for him to do another tribute to his dad in it, but he's done tributes to Dusty all throughout. Maybe because of what happened with Piper and everything. I think they wanted to keep it about Piper on the show, but you know, it was still, you know, he says, well, if you're not going to be my hero, then who will? And that's when we find out that the Green Arrow is going to be on next week. Now, what did you think about the Sheamus being added to the Wyatt's little promo on the Titantron? I thought that was... It seemed weird, but still kind of like I wouldn't be so mad if Sheamus was part of the Wyatt family or something.
I feel like Sheamus needs his own group sometimes, but I guess I wouldn't be opposed to it. But I always just assumed the Wyatt promos happened in like a little warehouse outside of Louisiana, you know, in that little complex where the Revolution used to live before all that went to heck in a handbasket.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that it was actually not bad when I first saw him. Why did they ruin this? But Sheamus actually handled himself pretty well. I can't lie. I think he did an okay job. And do I think they need to make this a regular thing? I sure don't. They don't need to do this with very many people. But I think that right now this is not bad for maybe a one-off kind of thing. So, but if they start doing this with anybody else they're tagging with and all that, then it's going to get corny. Okay, and this sounds kind of weird too, but it's kind of fun to see someone else in their world, you know, and to see Bray interact with them in their own world. But besides that, I mean, it could get old very fast. I enjoyed it this one time, a second or third, maybe not.
Well, they haven't been, they aren't officially part of. It's still a tag match.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hope that if we're going to keep them separate, it better be for the briefcase, because if not, we're once again having another match where they're not feuding about anything. We're just feuding. Okay? Like, I mean, the fact that I think Sheamus, like, made it a big deal, he slapped the briefcase a bunch of times and all that, it's got to be leading to that, right? Like, I'm not the only one thinking this?
No.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that it's about the briefcase.
Yeah, and then we get to the main event. So, I mean, which I thought was pretty good. You know, it's a 6-man, so you know you're going to have your fun stuff in there.
And your, you know, regular 6-man match, you know.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's great. They do have great stuff in there. But, you know, once again, I mean, you can only see so many. You can only do so many things in them. So, you know, not a bad match at all, you know. But once again, it's nothing new. Nothing you can be like, oh, wonderful, awesome.
Well, you know, I've been watching so many 6-man tags lately.
Oh, God, man.
I could do without seeing one for a while.
You could do one in your sleep.
Except I have to watch 3 in a row for 3 nights. So
Oh man. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I
So what
mean,
are we rating this? Seems like a meh Raw.
I think there's still, I mean, there's enough on this show to keep you interested for 3 hours. There were some dips here and there. 6.5.
That's pretty fair. 6.5 is pretty fair. Nothing too seriously bad. This will shock you, but I'll give it a 7.
Oh wow, Gary's gonna have the highest rating on this show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a 6. That doesn't mean it's bad. I just thought it was average Raw. You have good, interesting things, and then some things are building. They're just kind of there, though. There's nothing like overly enticing. I'm still not enticed by a lot of the stuff that's happening on the show, and you guys aren't totally thrilled with the Cesaro Owens thing. I'm kind of more into that than you guys are. So, well, we'll have to see how it progresses when we get to next week.
That's right. So everybody stay tuned, and maybe we'll have some different opinions about that week's Raw. But, until then, we'll get on to some other things. We are going to jump into some NXT next, and we just want to let everybody know, just in case you want to call in or maybe even check out that Spreaker bubble, the little chat bubble that you can chat with us. The number, though, is 972-591-8620. You can call in at any time. And we'll be doing NXT. So let's go ahead and get into that, and we'll be right back.
WWE Developmental NXT.
All right, NXT. As I have to press this, damn it, I screwed up. Never mind. I'll let you guys talk, and then I'll press the Twitter button. So we start off with a match. Thank God. It's so nice not to have to start off with talking segments on a WWE program. Bayley versus Charlotte. It goes a little bit less than 10 minutes, but it was a pretty good match. Bayley getting to beat Charlotte after a super belly to Bayley. And yeah, phase 1 is complete for Bayley of beating the stars of NXT.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all aboard the Bayley train. Next stop, NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And, this match was really good. And then now you get to see her face off against Becky Lynch. I mean, that's going to be another great match to look forward to. This is a great journey. I think this is something that, honestly, if you were going to, have a documentary or you were going to follow Bayley on her journey, this is a great one. Just because of the tough match she's about to have and the competitor she's going to be facing. It's a great story. I'm really enjoying it, and I think this is great.
I agree. The whole passing the torch to Bayley thing's it's an interesting. I mean, you knew it was coming, but it's still something you want to see because you want to see Bayley have her moment, which she deserves. Totally. And so, I'm excited to see this. I really enjoyed this match, and the finish was pretty cool. Seeing Bayley do the German, and then she blocks the natural selection and gets to do the super version of it. There you go. So now she has a way to... Hopefully it doesn't become like the AA, though, where we start kicking out of the first one. So now she always has to do the super one to put everybody away. Hopefully it's a special thing for the special matches. And kept that way. But... So moving it along, we have Michael Cole talking to Kevin Owens in an empty arena. He talks about apologizing to William Regal for attacking him. But he's upset that William Regal wants him to lose. He didn't say that he wanted Finn Balor to lose. He told him he wanted only Kevin Owens to lose. He thinks that WWE figures shouldn't be picking sides and like that. And then Owens talks about why he needs the belt because, it reminds him of when he did Sami Zayn and also the extra money. So he stays with that theme. That's been his deal. And he's worried about a referee screwing him over. So he wants to make it a ladder match for at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. So that's what it is now, a ladder match instead of just a match. And he's asked if he can beat the Demon. And I guess that's like Kevin Owens' trigger word, the Demon, and he just decides to walk off.
He got
walk,
scared.
Owens, walk.
Yeah.
What
No,
do you
this
think?
is
Now we have a ladder match as the main event. What do you think?
I think
Not
it's
the
really
first takeover.
Yeah. It's a smart idea. I don't feel like they could really top anything that they did at Beast in the East. And this will provide a lot of differences. Plus, I mean, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens in a ladder match. I'm assuming NXT knows that they're going up against a stacked Ring of Honor show that weekend. And they're doing their dangest to make this choice infinitely harder for the people out there in New York to figure out which show they want to go to.
Yeah, not a bad idea, obviously.
Mm-hmm. No, and one thing I want to say about the little promo with Kevin Owens interview and all that, I think it's great that he brought up William Regal and William Regal's past and what kind of person he was as a wrestler, and that's why he doesn't trust him. It's not just about him being scared, which everybody knows that's part of it, but it's also the fact that he knows the history and knows that William Regal has done a lot of shiesty things in his past, and why should he, trust him?
Yeah, just true. I love the fact that they're kind of melding all that together. It sucks that Regal can't wrestle anymore, because it would almost see it's almost like the Rollins and Kane. It's like they build to this thing that it almost looks like we're not even going to get. Even though Regal and Owens would be infinitely much more interesting than Kane and Rollins, but still, so much tension there for something we won't get in the ring. It sucks. But anyway, so we get I'm just going to go ahead and put this all together. We get another Bull Dempsey watching himself do all the bullfit stuff and whatever, and then it ends with him, looks like he's going to drop a bar on himself. So then later we see what happens with that, where he actually lifts it and he keeps doing it, and then we see him doing a few other things with different guys, and there's one girl that's there, some short-haired blonde, and then all of a sudden he sees this big tire in the middle of the performance center thing, the gym that they're in, and he starts trying to lift it, and then this seems like such a I don't know what commercial it is or what thing I've seen this in, where it's like the whole, oh, we see this thing happening, let's all just stop what we're doing and go towards it in this really awkward way. And they all rally around Bull, and he is able to turn the tire over, and it's a big accomplishment. Awesome. And then I guess, we're going to get more of this as it goes on. It's not the comedy from last week, but this is still really funny.
The only way this could have been better is if Best Around was playing.
Oh, yes. I'm down.
Oh, man.
you gotta love these, and yeah, they're poking fun, and at the same time, they're telling the story of what Bull's doing, and how he's gonna get into shape. But yeah, this is just pure entertainment.
Oh, but I mean, they've progressed it, right? He got Bull fit, and then he's progressing in that, so it all makes sense. It's not just him doing comedy. So they're trying to make it a serious thing, and that's good. I just can't wait till he re-debuts or whatever, and everybody's all about Bull Dempsey. Then, speaking of somebody that they're going to be all about, as we see Baron Corbin and Tyler Breeze, the squash people. This is where we get William Regal come out and tell us that Jushin Thunder Liger will be Tyler Breeze's opponent at TakeOver, and Corey Graves freaks out and does his natural "oh my god" without the "oh my god" of Joey Styles. His deadpan "oh my god." And we get a nice little video of Liger, which seems really, it was really cool to see WWE doing the video for him. And, you know, another match to hype the show, as we've talked about ad nauseum here. Speaking of hyping the show, though, not only do we have the Hype Bros, we also get to finally see what all the hype is about. With Apollo Crews is Uhaa Nation's name. We get a video for him talking about how he's coming for the NXT title. Oh man, I'm already salivating at Apollo Crews against Finn Balor. We get to see him do the standing shooting star. What do you think, Apollo Crews? How about that? You know, does he need to come out in the red, white, and blue shorts now?
Yes, 1,000 times yes. Same music from Rocky, just over the top balloons every time. The dancing shuffle feet. Make it happen.
Living in America is going to be playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Hype Bros for life. He ain't hype shouts are the best.
You gotta love him. No, I mean, I'm kind of curious with this name thing too. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna take some getting used to from me personally. It's not the number one name that I'm up for, but I mean, do you guys like it a lot?
It's cool.
It beats some of the other lame ass names they've come up with before.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we know they have a little bit of input into their name, so you know, I don't know if he was given a list and he picked one, or if he was thinking of different things and somebody came up with the name Apollo or whatever. But you know, Apollo you can chant Apollo, so you know. I don't know about Cruz. You don't want people confusing itself with Terry Crews. But, yeah, as long as I could definitely... The thing is, this is also set up so that when he gets to WWE, his name would just be Apollo.
True.
I just can't... This just seems like another one of those one-name deals. And plus, you know, Apollo is God and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You can... Another one of those you can always... You know, gravity forgot him and all that stuff for him, too, so... Whatever. Just, we'll have to see. I think it's more about what happens when he comes out and what jobber he's going to be wrestling that night and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Finn Balor gets to talk about how he wants to prove that Tokyo wasn't a fluke and that he doesn't care about the match type. He's just going to beat Kevin Owens, and pretty simple stuff. You know, he has this way of having a presence, but just still being calm, which I appreciate. You know, you don't always have to be all angry and whatever. Both of them do this. Both him and Owens are really good about, we're going to stay in this one tone, not get really upset about things, but we have a way of commanding our presence and telling you what we need to tell you. You know, not everybody can do that, so, you know, it's whatever. And I think even... I mean, I haven't watched as much as you have, Paul, of, you know, Balor's old stuff in New Japan and whatever, and, I mean, they don't get to talk that much there, but he seems a lot more comfortable talking than, I think, what he probably would have been previously. I think definitely the performance centers helped him there, too.
I imagine some of it has, but it's not like he hasn't been cutting promos in New Japan at all. Remember, it's treated as a real fight thing over there, so they do press conferences all the time. So he's had experience speaking in front of, you know, if not live audiences, a lot of taped stuff or stuff like that, or just sitting down on the spot, being asked a question, and having to run with that. As you've seen sometimes on New Japan shows, they'll go, especially after main events, where they'll go backstage and they're suddenly talking. And he got a lot of whenever he started Bullet Club, he got a lot of attention. So there was a lot of promo stuff going on there. So, yeah, I mean, he's not as bad as some people I have seen. There are times where he just isn't particularly enthralling, but he does know how to keep your attention.
Right. I did like the tease of the whole with we'll have to see when we get there about the demon. So. Yeah, then we get we do find out that. So how do you guys feel about this? Because we had been talking about how it seemed tailor-made for Enzo and Cass to be the ones challenging Blake and Murphy in New York. All this, it's built for them being from Jersey and all that. And we get Vaudevillains against Team Banff again. I mean, what do you think? I mean, do you think they're just going to be involved in something else on the card, or does this really mean that they're going to really start progressing them into the main roster since they did debut and all that already?
I think it's possible. I think it's also possible that NXT wants to keep the chase alive for those guys, though, if they do decide that Enzo and Cass aren't ready for the main roster.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the tag teams, looking at them and trying to figure out the whole process of what they're doing. I mean, I'm a big, Enzo and Cass guy. I think they should have, a bigger role. But I understand totally putting them back for now. But, once again, I mean, I think the whole division as a whole, because, I mean, you can talk about it as a whole right now. I don't think any team is just super lighting it up. I think a lot of people are excited about Jordan and Gable. But besides that, I think this is a slow process that they're getting back into having really good matches and actually establishing teams and just getting it all together. So I think it's still in that stage, and it's enjoyable. Trust me. But I'm very interested in seeing what they're going to do with this tag team with Dawson.
Yeah, Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're good. They're good technically. They just, it's the whole. They're really just two guys.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah,
it is. I was telling a coworker of mine today about them, and I was like, I can't barely remember their names. They're they are kind of generic, and it's just hard to remember it, But hey, you can remember Enzo. You remember that name.
Yeah, you remember the Vaudevillains because they're crazy gimmick.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking, I mean, they did. I love the part at the beginning where Regal's like, I heard that something happened with Alexa Bliss or whatever. They're like, they exploited their chivalry.
Yeah. Oh man,
I love that. They should get to do more backstage stuff and whatever. That's what they're really good at. Not that they're not good at wrestling, just that's how you can really get them over, is getting them to do different things. So they're continuing this without Alexa Bliss being at ringside at TakeOver. So you think Vaudevillains might win?
No. I don't see a reason to take him off Blake and Murphy yet.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, the Vaudevillains have gotten there, but just cannot get past that hump. I mean, they're kind of like the Buffalo Bill versions of the tag team world. They get there, they have their match, but they just can't get over that hump. And so, I think that do they need to win it one day? I think so. But right now, probably not the right time.
Fair enough. So we get our main event, Mojo, Rhino. Thought this was pretty good. Wasn't anything totally special or whatever. Joe wins with the Muscle Buster after 9 minutes. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Not a whole lot.
It wasn't. I mean, it was a fun match. It just wasn't anything special,
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen these guys in the ring together before, you've seen it pretty much everything you can really see, I think. And trust me, these guys have had bouts before. Unless you've never watched any other wrestling besides WWE, you've seen these guys together. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not awful. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was worth, but it's nothing to write home about, nothing to get overly excited about. So, in the end, yeah, entertained. Excited about it? Not really.
Hey, at least we can get super excited for what's coming up next. Right?
That's right, we can.
Yeah.
What we're about.
Lucha.
That's right. Ultimate Lucha. We are going to talk about the 2-hour season finale of Lucha Underground. It is really interesting. If you've not watched this show before and you listen to our review of this finale, I mean, you're going to be thinking to yourself, well, maybe I should go back and watch them because it's really good. I thoroughly thought so myself. So we're going to jump into that, guys. Don't worry. And also, this is the season finale. We are going to definitely miss that show. So we have a special preview to another place you can find these guys this weekend. That's right, Triplemania. They're going to have a bunch of the guys from Lucha Underground over that show. So Paul's going to run down the card for us, and we are going to preview that show pretty soon here. But we're going to start with Lucha Underground. Ultima Lucha is next.
All right. So Ultima Lucha begins with it does begin with the dedication to the original Rudo, Roddy Piper, even though they call Blue Demon Jr. the original Rudo later. So y'all gotta get your stuff straight. So we get a video package that was really well done to kind of get you up to speed about all the storylines and stuff. They do this better than anybody, I think, even better than WWE, because sometimes WWE forgets a lot of things, or they get overly long on one feud and they make you feel like all the other feuds don't matter. This one was equally given to everything, and I appreciated that. The second thing we find out here is that Michael Chiavello joins Matt Striker on commentary. He's done a bunch of stuff in pretty much like UK and whatever, done a lot. He does the Access TV like fight stuff that comes on after the New Japan show. He's even done stuff for the Olympics. So he's got the pedigree. Larry liked them. Okay, I really had a problem with him because for a lot of the show, it seemed like he had two play-by-play announcers announcing the match. And it really bothered me. It seemed like they didn't have the chemistry that they should. It seemed like they didn't really talk to each other they really, came on. It seems like they just went on and did it. And then kind of halfway through the show, they sort of figured each other out, which is fine. But I didn't think that it was the this great thing that Larry was saying. I almost sometimes it kind of took away from me what was happening because it was just really disjointed at times. I would have, like for AAA, they're going to do the Hugo Savinovich and Matt Striker. I think they should have spent some extra money to get Hugo over there and have him for this too. But I don't know. What do you think? Obviously, I think maybe they're going to bring Michael over for season 2 now that, Vampiro's not going to be the color commentator. But what did you guys think of the commentary before we get into the matches?
I mean, I thought it was fine. As you said, they sort of, the first half of the show was them figuring each other out, and the second half it seemed like they found something, which is what I had, because these guys probably never even talked to each other before this day. So it was pretty much a learning experience. Granted, probably not the show you want to have two announcers feeling each other out for, but it's what we got.
And when you're in that business, you got to be ready and you got to be prepared. And not that these guys weren't prepared. I think they were very prepared. It's just the fact that you got to have the right chemistry. And if you haven't spent a lot of time with each other, don't even know each other that well personally, it's difficult to do. So you got to commend the guys on the job they did for what they were asked to do on such a short time together. So I don't think it was terrible. But I definitely see where people can complain and kind of say things because I really missed Vampiro on this one, to be honest with you. It really did affect my watching. But on the other hand, I mean, Vampiro's not the best of all time or anything.
I can't. Gary's saying that he misses Vampiro during the commentary.
It is very interesting. I no longer have the hate in my heart that I once did for this guy. Now, if I saw him in the ring all the time, I probably would have that back.
At least you're fair.
Yeah, see?
So we get to the opening match, which they wasted no time here. Alberto Patron against Johnny Mundo. Really good. Really, really good. Great match. You get some fun stuff here. Melina returns. Of all the things I thought we would see in this match, it certainly was not Melina. With short hair, she distracted, I almost said Del Rio, Patron, so that Mundo could hit the end of the world and he wins. They have Patron just goes off on Mundo and just beats him up post-match. Melina gets involved and tries to save him. Patron tries really hard not to, hit her, but he winds up spanking her in the old style of what we used to see like Big Show do sometimes, the Divas. And then he gives Mundo his receipt, puts him through the window, and he is a bloody mess, to which my mom was like, "Is that real? That's really that's disgusting that you're watching this with this this blood." I was like, she must have not been paying attention when we get to the Vampiro match, because boy, there was certainly lots of blood there. But what do you guys think of this here?
I thought this match was incredible. It's really good back and forth. I thought the pacing was fine. I really, really enjoyed them bringing in Melina. I feel like she can add a lot to the show. She's a great character despite everything that you're probably bringing along with the behind the scenes stuff that got her fired from WWE. But I dug it.
I thought it was really cool. I thought that was a nice bring back, and I was kind of surprised she would do that. I mean, from last I heard from her, she wasn't even close to being around the business. So, I mean, this is kind of cool to see her back in this frame and actually be, involved this heavily. So that is great. I always say this a lot, but this is an excellent way to start the show. I mean, I really, really liked it, and it was a nice return for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, like, Chevello makes this seem like it's a big deal, which, that's the thing I appreciate. It sounds like a legit announcer, like, doing so. Not that Striker's bad at all. I have my things with Striker, but he's really grown on me, and I thought he's really improved well as the season has gone on with Lucha Underground. But, like, there's just, I almost felt like I'm hearing Michael Buffer on commentary. That's kind of what it felt like to me, like with Chevello. Every move was like, oh my god, this thing happened. And like, it was a little bit much sometimes, but it makes the things feel important. So that was another thing. Like, this felt like a big deal, and they made it a big deal. The build that it got all the way to the finish was great. And then like the big surprise of Melina, I think like put it over the top. I think, a lot of times people would be complaining about somebody running in or whatever, but this one was just so like, wow, really? That I thought they were not together anymore, but I guess something rekindled in all that time.
Yeah. Money talks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dragon Azteca shows up to rescue back Lotus, and Cueto appears out of thin air. I guess he's just everywhere.
Like you do.
Yeah, so he's like, you broke my treaty by entering the temple, and you know what that means. Death. So then he's right by the bars, so Lotus grabs him and says, this is for my family. Death strike to around his neck area, somewhere around there, chest, back. He's dead, so second death on the show. And Matanza comes with them, to the new temple that they're going to. And yeah. So, apparently Matanza can walk around by himself, and then can run too, even though we didn't see him later when they show them running off in the car. Which was weird. So, we get Cero Miedo match, which is basically a no rules match, or a death match, basically. See, they called that other match a death match with Muertas and Phoenix, but you know it's a death match when you get light tubes. That's the hallmark of the death match. I had watched some Big Japan death matches before I had watched this, so I was sort of desensitized to some of the stuff in here.
Yeah, if you've seen Big Japan, this is tame.
But Vampiro licking the blood just felt like, why? You don't know what Vampiro's gotten over the years. I wouldn't be licking his blood.
No.
But yeah, this was I think it was a pleasant surprise. Like, I was not expecting something like this. I figured they would try to protect Vampiro a lot, but I wasn't expecting deathmatch on Lucha Underground, you know. And then we got Flaming Table, which was crazy. You know, it's really like, my goodness, like, I can't believe this is really happening. And you know, Larry didn't particularly care for the ending, but I think we had mentioned this. We had talked about this possibly being what we might see, and we got it. Vampiro now really gets to realize him being the Emperor. My God, he looks exactly like that guy from Star Wars when he has the hood on. It's ridiculous. He is the master, and now Pentagon is ready after breaking Vampiro's arm at the end as well. But what'd you guys think?
I dug the match. I kind of feel like Vampiro is sort of a letdown for what I had been building up in my head, but it also feels sort of weird to go, oh, hey, it was me the whole time. Okay.
It was me, Austin.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Was me.
Exactly.
Oh man, you know, I was really concerned about this, just because of the fact that, you know, I'm not a big Vampiro guy. Let's be honest, and so I thought, well, maybe I'm just.
What did you think about the Dark Pope entrance?
Oh yeah. These entrances are actually pretty good, and I did enjoy it. I mean, I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
So
any sort of over the top entrance is awesome.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, we always compare a lot of things to WWE, but I think, you know, honestly, you know, it's gimmicky and stuff like that. But I think that Lucha Underground holds their own when it comes to entrances. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's not this, you know, grand whatever thing, because it's a really short walk from one that especially if they go through that little tunnel instead of going through the stairs or the bleachers or whatever. But yeah, I mean, and the music's really generic and whatever, but you know, I mean, they're trying to save money where they can. I mean, what did you like? I know you don't watch a lot of death matches, Scary.
I know. You know, over the matches, you know, cool. I mean, I've seen matches like this. I haven't seen a lot of them. I'm sure you guys can tell me a lot about submission.
I mean, XCW and Denton, that was their thing. They loved having these kind of matches. So I saw plenty of random guys hitting each other with light tubes there too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not your first rodeo for sure. So, no, I mean, overall it was fine. I had no problems with it, no quorums. It was good.
All right. I was maybe, you know.
You want else? I mean, the blood was, you know, I don't know. I mean, I've seen hardcore matches before. I mean, this is a little more extreme. But, I mean, I don't know. It didn't just blow me away, if that's maybe what you're looking for. It was okay. It was not just
those things to me. Like, it's much more crazy, like when you're there live, because like seeing it happen, seeing someone get whacked with a light tube, or seeing the flaming table, or whatever, is crazy. And that's why, to me, like, the crowd was hot for it, because it's something that, like, you don't see all the time. So when they really go through with it and everything, it's like, oh my God, really, they're doing this? Is crazy, you know. But yeah, so moving along from this. So did you have anything of Vampiro being the master, Gary? Like you know,
we talked about this last week, and I don't have a problem with it. The only problem I'm going to have is if the next guy that goes and does color commentary sucks. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, this is a bad waste of time. But I actually think it's a good thing. I like that, the gimmicks kind of match. And Vampiro as, not Ian, but Vampiro, completely makes a lot of sense with Pentagon Jr. So I'm down with it. I'm excited about seeing what they have next season for it. But once again, if the commentary suffers, I'm definitely going to be reneging on that.
Fair enough. So, Gift of the Gods match. Big Rick, Aerostar, Bengala, King Cuerno, Sexy Star, Jack Evans, Phoenix. 7-way match. This had a lot of formula. One guy gets knocked out, they do stuff. The other guy gets knocked out, they do stuff. Sexy Star does stuff. Davari coming in and whacking Big Rick seemed really awkward and why? We got some dives and stuff. The Aerostar falling on everybody from the 3 stories platform was cool. Bengala did some cool stuff. Sexy Star, I thought Sexy Star was going to win, and she kept getting knocked out by Big Rick, and and then Phoenix winds up winning, which I think that's the pick that we all had.
Mm-hmm.
Him winning makes sense, especially considering what happens later on. So I don't have a problem with who won. Just, I don't know, the match was just... It was good. It just wasn't anything spectacular or whatever.
Yeah, it was a cluster effie and not a very clean cluster effie.
And Marty the Moss showed up again randomly.
Because why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Once again, Phoenix going over, totally the right decision. I totally mad respect for Aerostar's dive. But it just wasn't as clean as some of the other multi-man matches that Lucha Underground has had.
And it didn't seem like they didn't do anything aside from Aerostar, they didn't do anything crazy,
Mm-hmm.
King Cuerno's thing still looks awesome when he shoots an actual arrow freaking into somebody, but I was expecting dives everywhere and all that kind of stuff, and we got some of it, but a lot of the times it just felt like them just, oh, I kicked you out of the ring, okay, whatever. The Lucha Underground has set a really high bar, and they did not get that anywhere here. Gary, what did you...
Yeah, I'm right there with you. The same thing goes for me as well, and it wasn't exactly thrilling. It was nothing that you're so excited about because of the fact that it was, just what it was. It was a multi-man match, and those can sometimes just either be formulaic, they can be a cluster, and I think this can had a little bit of both. I'm just excited about the fact that Phoenix won. I think that was the best thing. I chose Jack. What was his name? Jack Evans?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jack Evans. And so I chose him just because I thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be kind of cool if a guy that no one expected to win was to win. But Phoenix is the smart pick, and I think it's the guy that's going to be awesome next season.
Yeah. He's been consistent throughout this season, so we'll have to see what happens with that whole Gift of the Gods and what really happens once you cash it in or whatever. I'm really interested to see if they do really do the whole scattering of the medallions and what happens with all that and stuff. Then we have the no DQ match, which was really not a match, honestly. It was Blue Demon and the Blue Crew now, as Mr. Cisco is now wearing a blue bandana on his head. We find out that it's now a no DQ match, so you can kind of figure what happens here. It doesn't take very long for, after the first pin attempt of Tejano about to win, that, the crew just get involved, and then we get more involvement from Chavo coming in. And decided he took forever to decide that he wanted to hit Tejano. And then he does, and so So the two old, or the two as it was made on comments, the two veterans have aligned, and then whatever. We'll have to see what happens.
Right.
Yeah. The two veterans aligning was kind of a surprise, because they're supposed to be enemies and all that. But, at the same point, I think it's great, too, because once again, I keep talking next season, but when next season comes, you get more of the story. And not only that, these two guys together, they could do some damage, Chavo's not the biggest guy or anything, but he's also a guy that's very, very sneaky, and, he's a good tag team partner.
It's just two guys I'm not interested in seeing, so them together, it's just, boy.
Yeah, well, at least you get two for your not interested. After you get two out of the way.
At least they get it out of the way quickly.
That's what I'm saying, so, not bad.
Well, at least it was sort of like a cool down so that we can get to this fantastic Lucha Underground title match between Prince Puma and Mil Muertes. Mil Muertes kicks out of the 630. First ever time somebody's kicked out of the 630. First time somebody's kicked out of the flatliner on this show. They make a big deal out of that, and it should be a big deal because that's how you protect a finisher, not have somebody kick out of the finisher 50 million times. This was really good. It built really well. And they made it a big deal, like the whole, Katrina held up her stone thing that helped Muertes kick out and everything when he would. So I really enjoyed it, and you had a clean finish. You didn't have somebody come in. You didn't have the Disciples of Death distract Puma. You didn't have Katrina do anything. So I appreciated the finish. You get Katrina almost kissing Puma because she can't lick his mask. And yeah.
Amazing main event here. That dive into the chair was nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Mil Muertes getting the belt. I'm totally okay with it, especially in the context of this match. I know I said I don't think that taking the belt off of Puma might have been the best choice, but with the way this all came off, I feel like it's going to work out really well if they do get a season 2.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that at the end of this match, you got the entire Death Squad, is what I call them. They all have gold besides her, and so that's
she's the manager. She doesn't need gold. She just gets to stand up there and say, "Look at all my people having gold right now."
That's true. I just everything is glittered in gold with them, and she's got her rock, so that's all you need.
Yep.
So I think it's good though. Puma had to lose sooner or later, and why not to this group?
Yeah, to start the season fresh with something new already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to complain about that because you're now you know what's headed into if you get to season 2. And just in case you didn't watch and you're just listening to us here, they do end it with Black Lotus and Dario Cueto packing up his office, getting the supplies to cash. He comes back and gets that the Red Bull off the table for some reason. Phoenix gets into his muscle car and leaves, as does King Cuerno. We see somebody gets in the pickup truck. I forgot who it is. It's somebody you would think would have the pickup truck. Marty the Moth is talking to himself, we think he's talking to himself, and then he kidnaps Sexy Star and has her wrapped up like a mummy. As he laughs and sees that his sister is coming, so somebody's been watching Bray Wyatt. Havoc, Angelico, and Ivelisse are talking about how they're going to come back and get those belts. Havoc, Ivelisse is certainly showing that nothing has changed in their relationship. She still wears the pants, as Son of Havoc has to get on the back of the bike and go with her. The coolest one was probably Aerostar and Drago, as Drago and Aerostar shake hands, and Drago tells him in the demonic voice of "Till we meet again," and we see Drago go to hell, and we see Aerostar freaking go off into the sky, which is just, my lord, it's just crazy. This is still, there's still wrestling that happens on the show. Sometimes I'm amazed at some of this stuff. Pentagon and Vampiro leave together, and Pentagon wonders where they go from here. As Vampiro in full cloak tells them somewhere even better, or something to that effect. This guy in a white hood is wearing Dragon Asega's mask, and he puts a question mark over the Lucha Underground billboard to kind of signify that is this going to continue. And then Dario Cueto just kind of walks out of the temple, and he's smiling, and it's to be continued. So that's the end of your show. What did you guys think of the whole ending with all the people, like basically you see them leaving and all this stuff? I mean,
yeah, I thought it was really cool. It's totally a TV show ending. The whole episode, I feel like evil is totally on the rise within Lucha Underground because there's so many just bad things happening. And it really makes you want season 2 to start very quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I almost felt like I was watching an episode of Sons of Anarchy there, Gary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Just not so depressing as that show, you know. But yes, you're right.
We did see somebody die again. So
well, yeah. I guess that's true, too. But no, I think it was kind of a neat ending. I liked it. You know, it kind of fits the show. The show is all about this kind of stuff, and so it definitely works. Definitely is a cool thing. And what I'm trying to say, I guess, is the fact that, I mean, it ends like this, and it's cool, but on the other hand, we got another season to look forward to, and they kind of give you that.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we're praying. I'm just going to say it till it happens.
But, I mean, normally we don't do anything with Lucha Underground after, but since it's like a special show, it's their season, their WrestleMania, their thing. What would you rate this show as far as? Is this? I think, you know, the show goes by quick. I think really, unless you're just there, you should have. There's a fast forward button on whatever you're going to watch it on. So if you're not a big deathmatch person, you could probably, you know, you could skip the whole stuff with Blue Demon and Chavo, but definitely, I think you should just watch the show. I mean,
Are we talking about the entirety of Ultima Lucha, or are we talking about just this 2 hour? Okay.
Well, I mean, we can put in the 3 hours too, I guess, the other hour, but mostly focusing on this 2 hours, I guess.
Okay. I mean, I give this 2 hours about an 8. It was a really good show. Outside of the Blue Demon Tejano stuff, everything on here was really cool. It had a point. It's pointing you towards all the things that are going to be happening next season, if they have one. And I feel like this show does a great job of wrapping everything up, but still keeping everything going.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, you know, from beginning to end, they've done a great job telling the stories and leading us in the direction that they want us to go. And I've been a happy camper at the end during this journey. Been a big proponent of Lucha Underground. Anybody that I know that enjoys wrestling, I've been telling them about this show. So, I mean, now I feel really comfortable that if I run into somebody who's never heard of it, they really don't know anything about some of the wrestlers, I can tell them, no, you don't need to know anything. You can go into this and just be fresh and enjoy the ride. And from beginning to end, it'll be enjoyable. I don't have to worry about saying, well, don't watch episode, 32 because it kind of sucks, Skip ahead.
It is really like a novella like that.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the shows, except for a couple of clunkers in there, and it was a very small number. I think it was like 2. That they all feel like they're leading to something. Every time you watch one, there's something going on that's going to lead to another episode later. And they built it that way so wonderfully that it really doesn't feel. And then, to their credit, they have stood by and said they are not a wrestling show. They're a TV show. And they make you feel every bit of that it's a TV show that just has wrestling on it. And there's nothing wrong with that, and that's what's cool too. Like you're saying, Gary, like you can have somebody watch it And you can say, okay, well, here's this 39 episodes of this TV show you need to watch. It has wrestling on it, but don't think about it like a wrestling show. Just watch it like a TV show, and you can get past the whole this monster eating someone and all these wrestlers with magical things and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, like, the ones that wind up not liking this are the hardcore wrestling fans that just can't get past the bad save segments and some of the characters or whatever. But I think they're just missing out on a great product.
Oh, I agree. I do. And if they don't like it, that's fine. Everybody has the right to their opinion. But like I've said plenty of times on the show, I'm a very story-driven person. I enjoy the ride. I like the wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy watching wrestling matches and just great, straight-up, awesome 5-star matches. But if I got a good story, it draws me in. That's just me personally, though.
Yeah. So. I'll go with the 8 too. Yeah, there's only 2. You could totally skip the Tejano and Chavo and whatever Blue Demon stuff. The Gift of the Gods match wasn't that great, but it's still not. You can still watch it, and there's enjoyable things in there. Plus, you get the continuity of Phoenix was one of the medal holders. He almost got it taken away, and he has a lot of history with Mil Muertos, who's your champion now. So whenever the stuff gets done with Puma, which I would imagine that's going to be rather quickly, you can go into a feud with Phoenix, and you'll have all that history there with them. So,
yeah, there you go. So, a great show. Really, sad it's not going to be around. But you know what? To get us by and to at least extend this for at least one more show, there will be another event that's going to have quite a few of these AAA, or actually Lucha Underground wrestlers actually wrestling in AAA, and that is going to be at Triplemania. So we are going to definitely be watching this show, and we are going to review it. But we got to do a preview first. So we're going to preview it now, and hopefully, we'll get a chance to, maybe see some of these guys we're going to miss.
Like, if you had to say your one thing that you really enjoyed about Lucha Underground this season, what is it?
Go for it, Gary.
You know what? I'll say this. The one thing that I'll say is that the characters and the talent that these characters have, they didn't just go pick up people off the street with, costumes and then maybe have 5 wrestlers. Everybody that was a character for the most part had a great ability in the ring. They were great, at presenting themselves. It's just all the way through, from Cage to Mortez to even Jack Evans, a newer guy, not around for the first episodes. Sexy Star, all these different people that are involved are great wrestlers, but not only that, they've got charisma, they've got great characters, and you don't get a chance to see that in wrestling all the time because a lot of the times there are great characters and then there's just people that are supposed to be characters. But Lucha Underground, they just focus so much on that, and they do such a great job presenting it. They do a great job with their backstage segments. That's another thing I have to say. Those backstage segments and vignettes and all the things that they do, top notch. You can tell the production company they're with is a Robert Rodriguez production company because it's so good. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
For me, the best thing about Lucha Underground was the storylines. Every story they told this season, I felt like had merit to it. It felt like it progressed. It felt, in Lucha Underground's own wacky little way, natural. And then that's really what I loved about it. It's a promotion that makes me think back to the way wrestling was when I was a kid, where it's colorful characters and over-the-top storylines, but everything matters, and that's really what I appreciate.
I love the fact that they have no problem being themselves, and they don't care what other people think about them. I love the fact that they have out there characters. who the hell has a dragon that fucking flies into an arena? Like, nobody except Lucha Underground. Like, and he lives in hell. I mean, that's awesome. Like, you know, not the living in hell part, but you know, that's awesome. So, I mean, and then you have like his polar opposite, and they can get along with each other, which would never happen, you know, in any other setting. And it's just, I mean, that's just, you know, just I love the fact that you can have this, and you can also have great wrestling, and it all comes together as you create this show that you want to watch every week because the story builds, and you, not to mention, I think we need to give a lot of credit to how they made the general manager in this show. Like, Dario Cueto makes the show too. He's not a hindrance to the show. He is important and sometimes a pivotal figure, but there's always a double-edged sword that he plays, and he doesn't always get in the way of everything, you know. So he's always interesting to watch because you really want to see what he's going to do and what thing he's going to come up with next, and whatever, you know. Just I'm gonna be. I think we're all gonna be sad. It's gonna really suck if we don't get a season 2, because this show really deserves to have another season and find its legs, and maybe get to a point where they don't have an off period because they are that good and people want them around. So I really hope that, you know, the deal in Mexico goes through, or whatever it is that they need to get the production thing that they want, because it just would be a really crappy thing for wrestling if we don't keep getting this show, because it's so different from everything out there. And maybe it won't, you know, push anyone in the wrestling business to change anything they do, but it's nice to have something that's just special. And you can watch and just be like, man, that was a great hour of TV that I just watched, and it has great wrestling on it. And now I can compare that to other things that has wrestling on it that I watch all the time. And a lot of the times it doesn't compare to that, you know. But I wouldn't want WWE to suddenly be like this either. You know, it's cool that Lucha Underground could be like that.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing real quick that really draws me in personally is I'm a big fan of horror films, and they've got that dark part of the show. I mean, it's just got that dark feel, that, you know, grimy arena that you never know what's around the corner. I love that. It's perfect, and so it definitely draws me in with that as well. So,
yeah, and the violence, they are not afraid to be violent.
Oh no,
on that show.
They are sure not. So everything about the show has just been wonderful. I've enjoyed us doing the show every week, reviewing it. You know, it's definitely been worth it, and so I'm hoping next season comes sooner than later. We'll have to see. But anyway, guys, well, I think it is time for us to go ahead and move on and talk some Triplemania. So we're going to leave you guys from here and talk about Triplemania. And don't forget, everybody, we are still going to cover TNA and ROH. But besides that, Paul, I guess you can take it away, sir.
Yeah, so Triplemania is AAA's largest show of the year. They have 6 matches on offer so far that I see here. And the opening contest is going to be a Revlos Atomicos de Locura match, which is essentially a Atomicos match, or Atomic Madness. It's an idea that the founder of AAA, Antonio Pena, came up with, who is sadly no longer with us. But it's essentially one person from every division. So you'll have a male, you'll have a female, you'll have a Mini Estrella, and you'll have an Exotico all on one team. Faces versus heels. So your face contingent is Daga, Mamba, Mini Psycho Clown, and Sexy Star, taking on Dynasta, Drago, Goya Kong, and Pimpinella Escarlata. It's going to be interesting, especially if you've never seen half the people in this match. Obviously, Drago and Sexy Star we're familiar with. Pimpinella Escarlata as well. Goya Kong is making her big AAA debut here. Wrestling-wise, she's related to one of, I believe it's Psycho Clown, who we'll talk about later on the show. But at any rate, who do you guys got winning this one?
Only in Lucha Libre can someone named Psycho Clown be a face. Apparently, Sexy Star has actually been a heel a lot in AAA, which is like that's weird because that's not the way you see her in Lucha Underground. So that's cool.
It's very possible I'm getting my face heel linings messed up here, so because I haven't watched AAA in a fair few years. So
yeah, I'll watch it sometimes when they show up on like Galavisión, whatever here. I'm gonna say the face team wins since this probably doesn't matter in the long scheme of things. So
that's a good guess to me as well, Sean. Just because of the fact it's a big event, and of course,
and I'll say the Drago team just in case we have it all mixed up.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Probably a better way to go.
Yeah. So I'll go that direction as well.
I too am leaning towards Drago. They have the debut and all that stuff. Mini Psycho Clown and Diana Nesta are also feuding over the Mini Estrella title right now. If my research is proving correct, and all that good stuff. But I would lean towards that way too. Team Drago. The next match on offer is a three-way trios match for the AAA World Trios Championships, currently held by Los Hell Brothers, Averno, Chessman, and Cibernetico, taking on Phoenix and Helico and Jack Evans, who are former tag team champions here. And then the third team consists of El Hijo de Fantasma, who is King Cuerno from Lucha Underground, Pentagon Jr., and Tejano Jr. I don't see a team here that's going to lift those belts off the Hell Brothers. They are insanely popular. Cibernetico is a legend in AAA. Chessman is always been one of my favorites. And Averno, I could take or leave, but I would go with the Hell Brothers retaining here.
I'll just go with the Pentagon team just for the heck of it.
Sean, you stole mine. I'm a big fan of Pentagon Jr. and I just if I'm going to pick one, kind of like I do with Naito, I'm going to go with Pentagon's team as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's much of a feud around this one either, but Los Hell Brothers are awesome, so that's good enough for me personally. We start getting into stuff that does have feuds, though, here in this next six-man tag as the Los Psycho Circus, Monster Clown, Murder Clown, Psycho Clown, probably the greatest wrestling trio on the planet right now, take on Los Villanos, Villano 3, who this is his retirement match, Villano 4 and Villano 5. So earlier I mentioned Goya Kong is related to Psycho Clown. They come from a long family line of wrestlers. Brazo de Oro, El Brazo, Brazo de Plata. They are, I forget the family's name, Alvaredo. And the Villanos are another very famous wrestling family in Mexico. And essentially, the Villanos are calling them out and saying that, hey, we've been better than you since we made their dad, Goya Kong, and Psycho Clown's dad, and his brothers unmask way back in the 80s. And so now family pride's on the line in this triple threat match as Psycho Clown's buddies rally around him to take on the Villanos. Who do you guys got?
I'm terrified of clowns, so I'm going with Psycho Clowns. Psycho Clowns team, yeah. I think anything a clown's involved, usually they get you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Los Villanos.
I would lean that way too, just because they're insanely popular in Mexico. Villano 3 is retiring, and I imagine they will want to do good by him in some way. So, excuse me. Next match, Blue Demon Jr. and La Parca teaming up to take on Electroshock and El Macias. This match has no feud around it, but it is a celebration of Blue Demon's 30th anniversary since his debut in AAA.
Goodness. Oh man, I'm just upset we had to watch Blue Demon on this show. I know Gary is just pumped that he has to watch La Parka too.
Oh, I'm thrilled. Yeah.
Oh, and El Macias is Mel Muertes, by the way.
Yeah,
I should mention that.
Yeah.
Man, Blue Demon's team is probably gonna win. Just Gary is like having to watch one team of two guys he does not like. I forgot what the story was with you and La Parka. I think you told it on one of the episodes. I just don't remember.
I just, I don't even want to remember why I don't like him. I've kind of pushed him out of my memory.
The chairman of WCW is not on your fan list, Gary. This is highly upsetting.
I was long gone by the time La Parka came along. But yeah, I'm just gonna go against La Parka. Let's say that.
Okay.
I'm thinking Blue Demon and La Parka are going to get the victory here. I guess we should probably move on before Gary vomits.
Yes, I'm going to go to sleep.
The next match, a lucha de apuesta, or a match of wagers as it is, as Alberto El Patron defends his hair against Brian Cage's hair. And if Patron loses, he also said he'll leave AAA. So that automatically gives away the winning person in this matchup. But this match has been postponed and moved around due to all sorts of things, both storyline and real life-wise, that I'm not going to bore you with. But this match should be very, very good.
Yes, it should be. Watching Cage probably throw Patron around is going to be fun. I would assume Patron's winning here. They're not going to have him lose his hair.
No, I mean, I don't think so either. I just had some of his pizza today too. It's pretty good. Oh wait, does he own the Pizza Patron? I don't know.
No, he does not.
Darn. Oh, never mind. Honestly though, I just don't imagine they're gonna let Patron lose his hair. I don't think he's in for that. So, hey, let's get looking forward to seeing ball-headed Cage.
Yeah, Patron is not losing here. He's not leaving AAA. He's not losing his hair. So yeah. The guaranteed main event come heck or high water is Rey Mysterio Jr. taking on Mr. Z's, the former Sin Cara original in WWE, also the former Mystico. If you've gone further back than that and watching him, this stems around the idea of WWE wanting to have them wrestle at Wrestlemania, and that never coming to fruition. So now AAA is the one that gets to put on this first time dream match, quote unquote. I don't have a lot of confidence that Mysterio is going to do well in this match, but I haven't seen him since he's left WWE, so I'm willing to be surprised.
Mysterio winning.
Yeah, I think Mysterio wins. It'll be quite a good match, but I think by a finger, Rey Mysterio wins.
Not by a hair? By a finger?
No, by a finger, because Mrs. is going to fall out of the ring and hurt his finger, and he's going to just walk away. So
I'm going with Miss Disease. So
okay, well, let's just hope he survives the match.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'd be a good one. I think this would be great, and I hope that they thought of what WWE was going to do as well, and have everybody wear the lucha mask. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Maybe. I don't know if that's exactly what they're going for here. I do know that they will do English commentary for this. I know Matt Stryker is doing the commentary for the. If you're watching this on the they're actually doing a pay-per-view run over here in America for this one. So he'll be doing that, and Pedro Aguirre Jr. and Hector Garza are both being inducted in AAA's Hall of Fame this year as well at this show.
Oh wow, that's awesome! That's really cool. So I'm excited about that too, because the English commentary, it definitely helped me, especially with some of the guys that I'm not so familiar with. So
you'll get to find out that Hugo is bilingual. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty cool. So, Good stuff. So I guess that rounds out the whole entire card, huh? Be looking forward to that this week, and definitely we are going to review this next week. We're pretty much in the time slot we usually do Lucha Underground, so we will still have that slot filled for you guys. But now it is time for us to head on over to talk some G1. We have not got a chance to get our G1 update, so I'm going to turn it over to Sean, and he is going to talk about his journey throughout this whole process, and he's halfway done with it, and we'll get some more information. So here we go.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I have to hear that a lot. But I use it for the podcast too. And sometimes I confuse myself and forget that it's like 10-second song, and I'm like, oh crap, I have to get off what I'm doing and play the other song. So, I kind of wanted to, because we are kind of like sort of at the halfway point. There's gonna be 3 more shows over the weekend, and then they're gonna get to Monday off, and then they're gonna be in the final stretch. By the time we get to Sunday, they'll be in Tokyo for the rest of it, where they're doing the first Kurikan Hall show, and then they'll do 2 more Kurikan Hall shows, and they'll do the 3 shows at Sumo Hall. So, I don't know how much more you've gotten to watch, Paul. I tried to get Gary to watch some of the good matches. He didn't have a lot of time on his hands. So, did you watch anything, Gary? Like, what did you... Oh, I think Gary went away or something.
Yeah. I haven't been off works until today, so I haven't had a chance to watch anything. I still have been keeping up with everything, though. Night 11 had some interesting surprises as far as I can see.
Yeah. Tenzan and...
We don't need to talk about that if you don't want to, man.
I really enjoyed Naito and Bushi, though. That was some good stuff. Naito once again doing his heel stuff, and just them beating the total crap out of each other after the match was over. That kept on with the funny. And then I love the fact that he gets pushed into the railing and he just smiles like, all right, I don't care. I won. Who cares? Right? Like, just this Naito's been one of the great things about this whole tournament. I was gonna, we're at the halfway point now. Like, I know you haven't been able to watch too much, but do you like the format, or do you?
I dig it.
Go back to the old way. Yeah, you like it?
No, I dig it. Yeah. It doesn't feel as much as slog. It feels nice and evened out or spaced out, and I feel like you get to still see some of the other stuff that's going on. I don't mind all the tag matches. And I mean, personally, the blocks having their own shows works well for me too, because it seems fresh almost every time you're watching.
Right. I know there's a lot of people that are, and people that have been, into this a long time that are, they don't like it because the whole deal was that it was supposed to protect the wrestlers, but a lot of them are getting hurt anyway. Which I think that's a given anyway. You're in this tournament, it's a long time, it's 19 shows, but they do have a lot of time off in between, they have days off in between.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really weird though that they did the one show and then they had almost 3 days off. That seemed really weird. Usually, like at least with the soccer tournaments, you see them have the more days off towards later.
Right.
So it's kind of weird that they set it up that way. But to me, I like it too. You kind of know what you're expecting when you get up that morning, or you get up and watch it later, or whatever. And I like the tags. Yeah, a lot of it's a 2.5 to 3.5 star blur. I mean, at times. It's not anything like out of this world. I can probably tell you on my hand, like I think about like 3 of them that were really, something you should go out of your way to go watch. But still, it's interesting, and I kind of like I almost wish we had more of what we got with Taguchi and Dave Finlay. Actually, like a few more singles matches actually piped in there would have been nice.
Mm-hmm.
With some of the young lions or whatever. Just to kind of break up I get why they don't, because the whole point is you're getting about 5 singles matches in a row afterwards. But after you have so many of the tag matches, it was kind of like a nice little refresher to get that, where it wasn't supposed to be there, but we got it,
Right.
And I'm not going to complain about, not saying about the guy, but I won't complain about the fact that, we don't have to see Tiger Mask the rest of the tournament either. It's just, so, that was sort of like a gift that kind of kept on giving as the nights went on. But, I think definitely, the cool thing is, I think Block A has kind of gone into the whole, we're going to have one match that knocks out of the park or something, or at least tries to every night, and then you have Block B that's kind of a lot more consistent, where, it's maybe not anything out of this world, but at least they're solid. With, and Michael Elgin again keeps, my lord, the carry job that he does on Yujiro is just, boy, I'll tell you. Yujiro is really I don't want to say a waste, but sort of in this tournament. I don't know what it is. Whether it's he's not trying or maybe he just feels like he's only going to be in a certain place, kind of like Fale, and so his motivation's not there or whatever. But everybody else is kind of just having at least a solid tournament. So and I think Ishii has been one of the stellar ones. I can't wait for tomorrow, or later this morning, Ishii and Okada main event. That's going to be awesome. And I thought Nakamura and Goto, that was their best match out of the three.
Yeah.
Because they stepped it up a lot earlier. It wasn't them even though Goto kind of went away from the arm, which was weird because you'd think he would have worked on it since that thing's actually hurt. But they went to a faster pace a lot quicker than they have in the first two. So, AJ and Ibushi, I think, keep tying themselves for who's doing the best in the entire tournament. To me, not that Tanahashi's far away or anything, but I just feel like both Ibushi and Styles are really trying to make something out of this, along with Elgin. So
Naito too, I think, really deserves. Maybe I almost would say MVP because he's coming out in this blossoming in this new gimmick now during this tournament, and he may not be having the same stellar matches that everybody else is having as far as I'm reading, but the work he's putting into his character is something special.
Oh yeah, it's just worth watching the match just to see what else he's going to do with his character.
Right.
And I love the fact that he has the two attires too. For the tag matches, he comes out with the Mike Myers, stuff on, and then he comes out with a skeleton thing for the singles matches, and then he makes it a thing where he's going to take forever to take it off, so everybody gets pissed off. And then now they've built this story where he keeps attacking Red Shoes. So more and more Red Shoes just says, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna ring this bell, and then it's whatever happens to you, whatever, dude. But it does seem weird, and I will agree with other people that have said this. If this is supposed to be a company that says this is supposed to be a real tournament or whatever, why isn't somebody coming out and saying that Naito's gonna get fined because he keeps attacking the referee? That is a little weird. They make the referees look really dumb. That's one thing I'll say about the Americans. They do have, all those times Earl Hebner stands up for himself. You don't see that a lot here, so it's weird. And my God, if I have to see another barricade spot, it's I think in night 9 every match, or not night 11 every match barricade spot. I'm just my God, just stop at the barricade. Keep it in the ring or something. But yeah, I get it. I get what you mean. There's only so many things you can do, especially if you're watching this many singles matches, whatever. But it feels like we're just doing. And then Anderson really needs to stop with the count out thing. It's like starting to become like really annoying with the whole I'm gonna kick you out till like 18, and then I'm gonna do it again just to annoy the crap out of everybody, and then it's yeah. But other than that, I mean, apparently a lot of people didn't like the fact that Yano or not Larry hated it that Yano beat Shibata. I didn't mind it. It kind of made sense from the fact that everybody was expecting Shibata to just whoop his ass, and then Yano beats him. So it's like, you know, it's sort of like we gave you the surprise you didn't expect kind of thing.
I mean, and if they're going to turn it into what he was doing with Tanahashi too, then it totally makes sense.
Yeah, but see, I don't know if I want to see 6 months of Shibata going against Yano.
Oh, I don't know if it'd be 6 months. I mean, because Block A is a mess right now, because you got 5 people tied for first with 8 points. And they ain't small potatoes.
Yeah, right.
So, that'll be interesting to shake out. Where, I mean, Block B is sort of, I don't want to say spoken for, but it's not as, it's not as jammed.
Right. Well, plus you have that's where, everybody's saying Nakamura's going to win, so you kind of know what's happening there, whereas with Block A, there's a lot of people that possibly could win, at least 3 or 4 of them. So, even Naito now has put himself in the mix.
Yeah, I think Naito's definitely in that mix.
So, I mean, I know you haven't gotten to watch much, Gary, if you're there.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I'm here.
Did you get to watch anything, or?
I've watched a few of these matches, but I not enough to really tell you, that I know a lot what's going on in this tournament. But I mean, from what I've seen, it's looks like great wrestling, and I just wish I had the time to dedicate to it. I really, really do.
Have you gotten to see your boy Naito?
I have not watched his matches yet. I have not. I need to actually check his out. I probably will when I have a little more time. But everything you guys are saying about him, I'm thrilled, man. I'm so happy that, he's getting a lot of time, and this heel turn is definitely coming at a good time, apparently. So. All
right, so when we do the final all together, I need a report from Gary on Naito.
On Naito? Okay.
Sunday.
I'll have to look up all the matches that he's had or been a part of,
Well, I mean, he's only had, I think, everybody's only had, what are we at this point?
6, I think?
Yeah, 6. So,
okay.
Yeah, and I mean, the one with Fale you can skip.
Yeah.
But all the big ones, like the one with AJ and the one with Tanahashi and Ibushi, and you can watch those. Those are all pivotal to watching his character grow. And that's the thing that's cool, is you watch him do something else, do something new every time. So he adds a little wrinkle here and there that makes it interesting. It's not just him doing the same routine. It's not Yano, where he does sort of the same routine every time. Even though I do appreciate him and Tanahashi really tried to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Him avoiding the high fly flow while he runs under the ring, that was funny. I died laughing. And like he's done stuff like he turned his water bottle into like a sprayer at one point, and he's. I sort of didn't care for him, and then I've sort of like learned to really like him by the time we got to this point with him. It's just, I know people say that you don't need him in these kind of things, but you sort of do. Like, you don't realize how much you kind of want your break of watching this serious confrontation and then just getting to laugh in the middle of this A-Block show,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could do without having to watch Gallows try to have a match or something. I'll give him credit. He tried against Tanahashi and Styles, though, so he gets a pass on that one.
There you go.
I don't know about Tenzan and Fale, though. That was something.
Yeah.
Something more like I was so glad I did not decide to like go lay down and try to watch that match. I would have fallen asleep. It's bad.
Wow.
And it looks like we might be getting Fale and Tanahashi now, which I'm not too thrilled about that either.
Oh boy, I do.
He keeps using the high fly flow to win matches, which, yeah.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to seeing, the rest of this.
Kushida's back, so.
Oh,
I'm happy
good.
about that.
Apparently,
like I was listening, somebody had gotten the Samurai TV or whatever, and apparently like Milano was doing the commentary, and he was sort of making fun of the GFW thing.
Really?
So,
oh no, even they're making fun of it.
well, that's Samurai TV's announcements. That has nothing to do with New Japan. So
Okay.
you can make fun of it, and it has nothing to do with, like, there's no repercussion there.
Yeah, because New Japan is tied with GFW, so. No.
See, ROH is not complaining about GFW's. Probably because they don't even think that GFW is going to go anywhere.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is.
I mean, that should tell you all you need to know, that they had that big set of tapings, and they started and ended the GFW invasion in those set of tapings. So, yeah.
Oh man. Well, yeah, all good stuff, and we were looking forward to hearing more of the show, Sean, that you're going to be putting out there for everybody to know what's going on in the G1 tournament. Sean keeps you updated. He also does a written review, so you guys need to go on lastwordonsports.com and go check out those. Really good stuff. And if you don't have time to sit down and watch the matches yourself, like me, make sure you read those reports. They're really informative. I know Paul reads them. So, go check them out and enjoy them. But now it is time for us to move on, guys. We got a couple of other shows we want to talk about. So we are going to, I think it's going to go ahead and head into some TNA talk. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll be right back after this.
TNA Impact Wrestling.
All right. Let's quickly move along from not having to hear that music anymore. I'm sorry. Until they change that, I always have to make a horrible quip about that terrible music. Anyway, we get a nice little tribute to Roddy Piper, since he did spend a couple of years there in TNA. We get Bram and Mr. Anderson. I thought this was good. It could have been worse, so there's that. We get Anderson rolling up Bram so that we can continue the feud, and then Bram still attacks Anderson afterwards. So, yeah. I know you got one guy that you like and one guy you can't stand, Paul, but...
Yeah, it was a fine opener. It just means that this has to continue based on everything else we've seen. And I don't know how big a fan I am of that, but I guess I'll live.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know. I was a little bit 50-50 on this. I thought it was an okay match, but nothing you really haven't seen before out of these guys. Nothing thrilled me. Okay, it was good.
True. Yeah, so we move on to James Storm talking, which I'm sure Paul was gagging at the thought.
That's what I was looking for, too, is just this part right here.
So,
Gary.
He's talking, and he's mad that Koya failed him in his match, in that tag match or whatever, so he has to pay the price. And Koya comes out, and he slaps him around, and that he's just like the fans, He's from a crappy country, and, he gave him all these things and whatever, and then Koya gets upset and gives him the sky high, and he's like, look, I am not Koya. I am Mahabali Shera from India, and I'm proud of who I am. And Storm will not touch me again. And now Mahabali Shera is a face. The face turn no one called for, but it's here. Yeah. So, you excited about Mahabali Shera?
Not entirely.
Oh my goodness.
Especially not him wrestling James Storm.
Yeah, not a great first person to wrestle, not a great promo in my opinion either, but I mean, TNA recently has been sticking to ethnic pride, so why not?
Yeah, and not everybody can be lucky enough to go to Kali's school, and so...
That's true.
That's
Learning from a former world heavyweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
Invaluable.
So, exactly. And he went to the school of James Storm, who I guess champion as well, but no, honestly, out of this whole thing, the story is not bad. I'm okay with the story, but they have fallen off the wagon when it comes to that story. That right now, I don't think anybody really cares. I just don't think anybody, and I don't think a lot of the viewers probably watching don't remember the whole purpose of this. And so, I mean, just to me, it's not that big a deal. They make it like it's a big deal, but it's really not.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to make something out of this Revolution thing after they kind of just bombed. So, I can't blame them for that, really. I mean, it could be worse.
Mm-hmm. It could be Gunner versus Storm.
No, not again. Not again. So, Gail Kim versus the Dollhouse. This doesn't last very long because Taryn just leaves going crazy when basically Gail knocks the Marty and Jade out so that it's only left with her, and she starts yelling and screaming and runs off. Then Gail Kim beats Marty and Jade because, they're nobody. And, yeah, I kind of agree with Larry in the whole, they could have DQ'd them and it wouldn't have hurt. But, yeah, so I get 5 minutes here of this.
They've taken the Dollhouse from being something incredibly interesting to something that you can have no faith in because TNA once again can't let their heels win anything ever. So I completely agree with Larry and yourself on this one. It would have hurt nothing for the Dollhouse to get a DQ or whatever.
Yeah, they once again, like you said, don't let the heels win, and now we've got nothing to care about. And I think that's their big problem is not that you want to give 50-50 booking, but you also want to give everybody an opportunity to see that, hey, these heels do have power, they are strong, and who's actually going to believe that these two girls are strong? No, you don't need any more because it's just chump change for Gail Kim.
Yeah, true. So, well, speaking of chump change, Eli Drake, that guy. Taking on Drew Galloway. I don't really care about Eli Drake, but this thing's gonna go on for a little bit. This was fine. It wasn't anything like blow away or whatever, but yeah, Eli Drake wins with a roll up and grabbing the ropes.
Do you see a trend here? The trend for me, at least, I can't speak for Paul or for Sean, but for me, the trend is nothing really to care about. Nothing really that grabs you. Nothing that you really are just like, oh man, that happened. That scares me a little bit here.
I mean, yeah, there is that, but this is still the best thing on the card that we've talked about at this point. This is a really fun brawl, actually, which I enjoyed it. And I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, but you're right. It's nothing like crazy memorable or oh my god that happened or nothing that draws your attention to the television screen if you're not a TNA or a wrestling fan.
You're right. Not a bad, but my whole thing with it, is that I've not been able to just bring myself just to jump into this whole thing full force. I'm a big Galloway fan. I think he's great. I wish him all the best. But besides that, and just the really trying to get into the storyline, it's been hard for me. And maybe that's what gets in the way for me a little bit with the storyline. The match here, because I'm just not super enthralled or really care who wins. But yeah, you're right. I mean, not a bad match at all. But it's just, I think the other part gets in the way for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think this can be something. Honestly, I don't think it's gonna. Maybe I'm selling it short. But Bobby Roode meets the Bully Ray because he's upset about this whole, situation with Austin Aries and that he might not be here anymore. It's gonna make him lose money and all this stuff. So he's gonna go out there and make sure that Aries doesn't lose. And Bully's like, well, I'm gonna make sure the best man wins. So. This was one of the best matches on the show. I maybe liked the main event a little bit more than this, but this was actually surprisingly good. I enjoyed it. You got the surprise finish there with the super underdog for the upset, and then Austin Aries is now done with TNA. Officially, according to storyline, he's been done with them for a while. Not according to storyline, so yeah, but good way to put Rockstar Spud over big time here. Let's just see if TNA actually, uses that in a positive way.
Absolutely, that is the big question. This match was good. There's really great back and forth. Spud plays an amazing underdog and ends up getting that big win. But it's not going to matter one lick if TNA goofs this up.
I sure hope they don't. I'm a big Rockstar Spud fan, not because he's just the best in the world or anything, but I enjoy him. I enjoy his personality. I enjoy his ring work. I think the guy is, a lot of talent. He really does, and I just hope that TNA doesn't sell him short. I hope they give him the opportunities he could really, use to grow on. This is a great opportunity. They need to keep giving him more opportunities. And not only that, awesome the fact that he could kind of win clean here, not use any other things to get him over that way. So, thank God that Austin Aries chose a great guy like this to put over.
Mahabali Shura and James Storm had an angle. Yeah, that was whatever. Did Storm hit him with the cowbell and we got DQ and whatever.
Nobody cared.
It's a thing.
It was nothing. It was just nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I feel so bad because when we're doing the TNA talk, it's like, but I mean, it's just such a downtime right now.
I mean, there are good things, like EC3 and Rockstar Spud and Drew Galloway being there, and I mean, the knockouts kind of used to be something. Bram is. Doesn't matter how many times he re-signs with TNA, he's still. Something you should be wanting to watch. Bully Ray gets knocked out backstage. Then Dixie and Jeff Jarrett are wondering what happened to Bully Ray. Jeff wants to help her, so he wants to know if she'll let him put on a show, and he wants to have GFW do it. Oh man. If that's not the lamest way to get an invasion started, I don't know. Man.
I'm going to help you out. Oh, man. Yep, it's interesting. So, let's see.
Will you let me just basically have a show on your network?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sure.
Oh, Dixie.
You know what? Dixie's that naive. She'll let him. You could really believe him. Believe her.
You know what? I mean, she's like, oh, yes, I could really use the help. I'm like, you could have used the help a long time ago. I don't know.
What'll be funny is when it doesn't move the needle at all.
Yeah.
And then,
No,
hopefully it does. Hopefully for GFW it does. Hopefully, but.
Mm-hmm. No, my point in this whole thing, though, is that, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but they spent a long time trying to make Dixie Carter a big heel, working on that. And, of course, that's okay for her to turn face, but, man, it's just night and day. It's like the character she is now is she's like a little kitten who's scared.
Now she's herself. So.
Well, is that really her? I don't know.
If she let all these dumb people do stuff in her company, I mean,
Well, I think she's obviously naive. I think she's stupid enough to think these people care about her and her company, and they don't. They care about getting themselves over. So I think that's more of the case than it is her.
That's the point, though. You need to be smart enough to understand what they are, and that you don't need them in your company. But
yeah, you're right.
it is what it is. No. I'm not gonna say Hogan didn't do anything. I mean, he did raise his profile a little bit, so it's not like, and I mean, I don't know that Bischoff did anything, but whatever.
He looks sexy. That's all he needs to do.
Okay. Now that you've just whatever. So, Paul's personal good friend EC3 against Matt Hardy. This was really good. I enjoyed this. We know Matt Hardy knows how to wrestle these matches. EC3 got the win clean. Nobody came in. Tyrus didn't frickin' come in and do something. Oh my lord, what a miracle.
Yes, a miracle, a once in a lifetime happening. EC3, my close personal good friend, retains the TNA World Heavyweight title in a very, very good Full Metal Mayhem match. Dude, man, I wish you guys could have been there in the limo with us celebrating on the town afterwards.
Oh.
It was amazing.
Oh, man.
I know. So jealous right now. Super jelly.
It was great. This is one thing that Magnus's title reign never had, was letting him go over once in a clean match that was sort of high profile. And EC3 nailed it.
Yes, he did. Gary?
Yeah, I agree. I'm just, happy to finally get a chance to see him do it this way and not always be based on Tyrus or him just finding a way to get out of winning clean. It's nice to see, and, not a bad way to end the show with a great match like this. I was thrilled. So, I mean, I just, can't say enough about EC3. This guy just continually shows how great he is, and TNA, man, I mean, they've got a guy here that's definitely a big star. I just, I hope they can continue to build on that.
Yeah, very true. So, what are we rating this TNA?
7, I think. There's some really boring parts on here, but when it was good, it was pretty gosh darn good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get some really good matches out of this. You get some okay matches out of this. Nothing super terrible. You had your boring parts like Paul just pointed out, but nothing too bad. I think a 7's right about where I'm at as well. I feel comfortable with that. It's kind of an average for me. But yeah.
Agree. 7. I'm gonna go with that. Okay. You guys kind of hit on the head there.
Awesome. All right, well, that pretty much wraps up our No Surrender version of TNA Impact. We are going to move on, and we're going to talk some Ring of Honor right after this.
Hit it, Paul.
All right. We open this show. Roderick Strong wants a rematch with Jay Lethal. He feels like he would have won at Death Before Dishonor had the time not expired. Kind of hard to disagree with that. So we go right into our first match after that. War Machine taking on the Young Bucks. An overbooked mess, to say the least.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Just crazy. Just way too much happening. Just what the hell? Gary?
It had a lot. Yeah, you're right. But I thought it was entertaining, though. I didn't have too much of a problem with it. I mean, things were everywhere, but at the same time, you got the Young Bucks. You got, War Machine, and the whole thing to me, yeah, it wasn't perfect, but it was entertaining.
I'll say it was fun at times, but the overbooking just totally took me out of this.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't something Ring of Honor traditionally does, and probably something they shouldn't look at doing again, because this made no sense. Why do you need AJ Styles for a match against War Machine? Obviously, you're trying to make War Machine look strong in that, but it just Why? On a Ring of Honor TV show. Meh.
Yeah, I get you that point.
We follow that up with Cedric Alexander squashing the romantic touch. Nothing overly impressive here either. You guys have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
The romantic touch. What a gimmick. Yeah, nothing big here. It was okay.
Yeah, okay, I think about sums it up, actually.
Yeah.
Caprice Coleman, yeah. Caprice Coleman talks some sense into Alexander after the match, but he gets a shove for his effort. And Moose comes out, Alexander runs away. Obviously, this isn't over between any of these three men, and I'm okay with that. Moose and Alexander's work at Death Before Dishonor is actually quite good. Adam Cole takes on Kyle O'Reilly. This is sort of falls into a tag team match eventually with words. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly end up teaming up to take on the Addiction, who ran out to attack O'Reilly. So this sort of turns into a tag match, which was fun, except for the ending.
Yeah, except for that, I enjoyed this. The best thing on this show, which doesn't say much. But.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they keep, getting Cole over as, turning more face. And, I understand it, but it just kind of makes me sad. I like him as part of the kingdom, and I hate to see this whole thing fall apart.
I mean, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I kind of am intrigued into what they're going to do with this. Him not being in the kingdom now.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably the only intriguing part out of all this. It's Ring of Honor, as we've seen since we started covering the show, they at least give you one match that goes some time and lets you really show off what they do best, which is wrestling. They didn't do that on this show, and I felt like this would have been a good opportunity to do that. And they kind of crapped all over that. Because this was not a good or enjoyable episode of wrestling at all, no matter what company name is on it.
Yeah. I mean, luckily for both companies, they only lost 20,000 viewers from both their ratings from last week. TNA also lost 20,000 from the replay as well. So.
Yeah.
And that's your no surrender. Like, I mean, it seems like every time they have the supposed big show, TNA's ratings go down. Whereas when they have this blah show,
Mm-hmm.
Are we weird and maybe we just don't get the blah?
That's a good question, Paul. Oh, man. I don't understand it either. It just makes no sense to me why people aren't tuning in for that. I don't understand it. I really, really don't. You would think that a big name show would impress people and get them to be curious. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's kind of like I get a pay-per-view for free, kind of thing. But they don't care. They just don't care. Don't know why. So, well, guys, I guess that pretty much wraps up Ring of Honor for us. Another good, introspective on a show that wasn't great, but at least you got a chance to, get another one under the belt. We are going to move on, though, guys, and it is time for us to again, if I can speak, again, it is time for us to crown a Superstar of the Week.
It is like 3:30 in the morning.
I know. Yeah. So it's like, trying to get through this. But anyway, let's crown a Superstar of the Week, guys. Let's do it next.
Superstar of the Week.
Yeah. Superstar of the Week.
All right, Paul. Who do you got this week?
Number 5, giving it to Seth Rollins. Fun little promo to open the show. Great match with Neville. 4, I'm giving to Rockstar Spud with a really good match with Austin Aries. 3 is going to both Mundo and Patron. Stellar match to open up to this week's Ultima Lucha. 2, I gave to Mil Muertes, capturing that Ultima Lucha championship. And number 1 goes to my close personal friend EC3, mostly for the limo ride afterwards around town to celebrate, but also, for retaining cleanly.
Yeah, I'm going to go 5 Seth Rollins for sure. I mean, he was a big part of Monday's show and had that great match with Neville. Number 4, the Mundo and Patron match definitely deserves some props. Number 3, where am I putting this here? I think number 3, I'm going to give to Naito for continuing to be interesting in the G1, and he had another very good borderline great match there with Ibushi. And number 2, Mil Muertes captured the Lucha Underground title, first major title change, first Lucha Underground Championship title change, and he gets to be that first one that beats Puma. And number 1, Ibushi continues to be the all-star of this G1. He did it again this week, so you can give him props here and give him number 1.
All right, my number 5 has to go to Neville. Just an excellent match against Seth Rollins this week. I mean, he honestly could have won it if Seth Rollins couldn't have got his foot on the ropes. So just got to give him big props for that. My number 4 has to go to, I'm just going to go with Mundo as well. That match, it was just so good, and you just can't leave it off the list. Number 3 for me is Rockstar Spud. Just very, very proud of him. A great match, and once again, I should give part of that to Austin Aries for having such a great match and putting over Rockstar Spud. 2 is Mil Muertes. That guy just did an excellent job. Congratulations to him on the belt. And number 1 has to go to EC3 for me. It was a toss-up, but I figure we have to have a way to break this tie. So EC3 is going to do it for us. And EC3 is our superstar of the week, everybody. Now we just gave Paul another reason to go celebrate in that limo. So there you go.
Have to give him a call.
Yeah. Hey, dude, you won superstar of the week this week.
Fire it up, man. We're going out.
That's awesome. But anyway, guys, well, that is awesome. We got another superstar of the week out of the way, and proud of him. Well, it is the end of our show, and we are going to do a few plugs here. Don't forget, everyone, we are of course going to do the Triplemania review next week on this show. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about, and I'm looking very much forward to getting into it. As well as we're going to talk about some other big things in the news-wise when they'll be there. And I'm sure there'll be some other things in the world of wrestling. I don't know, Sean, we don't have any other previews, do we? Of anything else?
We know the card, so we could technically preview that G1 final that we're going to review that Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, we may just we'll do that. So there you go. We'll have 2 previews next week: G1 and Triplemania review. But besides that, we'll have a great show next week. Sean, why don't you go ahead and plug a few other things?
Well, finally got back to doing cooperative multiplayer after the G1 made it to where I really couldn't focus much on video games, which I still haven't played anything. I just was actually able to sit there and read up on news and all that. We still have to do the post-Gamescom episode, which now I think we're going to have to do sometime tomorrow before I go to work, because now we have to do football to football when I get off work with Daniel and Robert, where we're going to preview the NFC South. And, Robert will be representing the Panthers, and Daniel will be talking representing the Atlanta Falcons, so that will be fun. We'll be without Randy for this week and next week, because he is actually where you guys are right now. Or he's not there yet, but he's going to be, and he's going to be going to a Rangers game with Gary.
Yeah.
So you guys will get to talk. Randy and I get to talk all the time, so now you guys will get to talk at that Rangers game.
He's going to try to convert me into a baseball fan. He's already told me.
Oh boy, Gary.
I know.
Don't buy into it. But yeah, I'll keep on with those G1 shows. Tomorrow should be another one since they have a show in about an hour. So I don't get to sleep. Yay. But I don't have to work till 6 o'clock, so thankfully, maybe I'll get to sleep when I'm done watching it and writing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you to everybody that has said nice things about whether it's this show or your sister even shared the Roddy Piper tribute just now. So I got notification for it. So
cool.
Yeah. So, we've got people, and the Roddy Piper thing is actually probably one of our highest rated shows that we've had. So, thank you again. I mean, we didn't do that for ourselves.
No.
We did that because, I told Gary I wasn't going to do a normal intro. I didn't put an ad. I have now an ad that I can do on the last word stuff that if people actually click on it, we can get money for it and stuff. I didn't put the ad in that article when I posted the podcast on there because I didn't want it to be about anything. I wanted it to be about, us honoring Piper. And there are probably ones that did it better because they had more time. Literally, I got home. I found out while I was at work. I asked Gary if he wanted to do the tribute. Then, Paul let us know he couldn't do it. And then we had like an hour to gather up the stuff that we got. And then the people that called, thank you, and we didn't have an extra day or 2 days or 5 days to make this grand ordained thing, So for what we got to do, I thought that was really well done.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It was definitely something we didn't do it to get numbers or do it to make ourselves feel good. Me and Sean really said, we want to talk about this now while it's fresh on our hearts. We want everybody to be able to share it. While it's, it's therapeutic, really. And that was the way it was for me. It was very therapeutic for me to sit here and talk Roddy Piper and celebrate his life. And I think Sean felt the same way. And I was bummed Paul didn't get to do it, but at least he got to share his feelings today. So, but, it was a great show. And, I hope we don't have to do very many of those, Sean. That's a far and between thing.
Like 7 this year already? I really hope that
yeah.
we don't
anymore.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that pretty much does it, I think.
All right. So definitely a lot of great stuff for you guys to check out. We're, like I said, looking for...
Sorry that we bordered on the almost 4 hours. But
yeah. It happens. We had a lot of stuff to cover today.
We
had
good
stuff.
Conversations, too. It's not like, we just sat around and blawed for... hours. I mean, I thought there was some good talk during some of the shows and everything.
I totally agree. So, lots of great stuff, and got into. So, anyway, guys, well, we are going to leave you guys. We are going to go ahead and let you know that, we appreciate everybody that listens. Make sure you go check out some of the past episodes. And, of course, don't forget, go rate and review. We love to hear from you guys and see what you guys are interested in and what you like and don't like. So, always remember, guys, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Peace.
Later.